they're doing it really well. Another first down. 6 points for Ward. A pitch out there. Good run for the Hurricanes. Demby's going in the air for a bomb. Catch. The Wolverines to 10. 5. Touchdown Woodside.
All right, high school football in Newport News, Virginia, live tonight. The game of the South, Woodside versus Herritage, in the biggest game of the South tonight. Greg Bickaveris along with Nate Milton. Glad you're with us, Nate. When you talk about these two teams, they're glad to be playing football.
Yes, we are glad to be back and better than ever, folks, and we've got a great game for you tonight.
These are two perennial powers.
Yep, two perennial powerhouses here in Newport News, and the thing is, Danny Dodson and the Woodside Wolverines want to come in and establish the tempo. Herritage and Coach George Massenberg want to shut that down.
All right, let's get down to the field. All right. And Woodside in the white and Herritage in the gray. It's very important to get off to a good start. You know, both teams are vulnerable right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, both of these teams have had their schedules kind of turned on their heads, Greg, because of the postponements due to Hurricane Florence. And so we want to see which team will be able to come out and establish themselves, get into a rhythm, get into a routine here early on in the first quarter.
Both teams are rusty. They're idle for a week or so. And you talk about Herritage and Woodside. Woodside's got the ball going right to left in the white uniforms.
And this is going to be really exciting right now because we have two of the premier coaches here in Newport News, two of the premier programs, Woodside and Herritage, and this is a great way to kick off our football season here on Channel 47, folks.
Woodside's got the ball in the white uniforms, and all of a sudden they're looking at their coach. And it's like starting all over again because they've been rusty. When you take a week off because of weather or whatever, it's tough. There's the wing tee of Danny Dodson, the coach of Woodside in his 20th year, and that was respectively number 15, Bryce Phipps.
And this is,
let's take a look at the officials right there, Nate. You got Gear, Banks, Fry, Mallory, Fitzke, Champagne, and of course McGuire.
And our officials have had a week off too, so I think everybody is kind of getting back into that rhythm, getting back into that flow, Greg. So it's going to be interesting early on here to see how both teams as well as our officiating crew respond.
Both teams made the postseason a year ago. Woodside in the white. Both perennial powers too as well. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. We're live tonight on Cox Cable 47, 517, nnpstv.com. There's Danny Dodson, who went to William Mary. Of course, in his 20th year, talking to his quarterback, Tyler Thompson. And Dodson's always had good quarterbacks, not necessarily great passers, but multiple threats.
Yeah, and you look at the history of kind of the Woodside Wolverines and their signal callers. You talk about somebody like an Aaron Evans, who was a great dual threat. You know, Jordan Knight, who Thompson is replacing from last season. Jordan Knight, who was a great dual threat quarterback. Even going back in the day, when you talk about somebody like Billy Canides, who was a great passer for the Woodside Wolverines. Danny Dodson just seems to find the right personnel to fit this wing T formation that he's been running for so long, and that's why they've been so consistent, Greg.
Great text from Sonny Dearth watching in the Daily Press live. Thank you, Sonny. We'll get more to the text later in the second half. And here's a nice run by the Wolverines, number 22 respectively, and that was right. We'll talk about Woodside first. They beat Gloucester, lost to Highland Springs, beat Kickotan. Herritage lost to War Hill and beat Gloucester. But you talk about Woodside, of course, 2-1, Herritage 1-1. Both these teams just need to play football, 48 minutes, get the win.
And the thing that makes Woodside so dangerous, Greg, is out of this wing T, it's a simple formation, but they can hurt you with so many different various players and athletes that they got coming out of that backfield.
We're calling this the biggest game of the South tonight. A lot of networks have tried high school football. We've done it first since 1991. Glad you're with us for our 28th year at Todd Stadium. We'll get to our crew list in the fourth quarter. Thank our great friends over at Fazoli's a little bit later as well. Nice scoreboard as well. 10-10 left in the first quarter. They played 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League. Are you glad they haven't tweaked that, Nate, the quarters?
Yeah, I'm glad. I think it's the right length for these athletes out here on the field. Not too long, not too short.
Woodside, none of these teams are going to wow you out here. This is a lot of run for the older generation. Woodside's like Ohio State was back in the 70s. Yeah, let's take a look at Fazoli's. I want to thank our great friends there. They feed our crew, let them feed you on Jefferson Avenue and in Chesapeake. 11739 Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. Phone number is 596-4324. For more, go to Fazoli's.com. Download their app. Everybody's got an app now.
Absolutely. Nate. Shout out to the good people over at Fazoli's. They feed our crew. Let them feed yours, folks. Pizza, pasta, subs, and more. Fazoli's is the way to go.
Salads, too. Breadsticks. Nothing fancy here. And
wow,
when you stutter, that's what happens. Good defense. And down goes Thompson. And, of course, Woodside, Nate, overall likes the wing T. They like the 3-4 defense. Strength is the defensive line. Weakness is the youth. For Heritage, they like the multiple I. 4-3 defense. Strength is leadership. Weakness is the line.
Yeah, we just saw 4-3 defense in effect right there. Great job by the by the Heritage Hurricane front four to get some pressure and force Thompson to make a decision. And like you said, Greg, when you hesitate, you get beat. And that's what we saw right there. The young man was indecisive and he had a loss of yards.
And they're looking over Warwick's shoulder right now.
Yeah, Warwick, the surprise of the season. There you see Coach Massenberg, the great coach for the Heritage Hurricanes here.
And there is the quarterback for Woodside, Thompson. Some of the storylines Nate and I will be talking about this year to start off tonight. Weather delays, the Mike Smith suspension. Bruton has to forfeit 5 of their games, enough players. Year 20 for Danny Dotson. Stability in Newport News, all head coaches are back.
Yep.
That's really good. And, of course, Warwick is improving.
Warwick may be the surprise of the season. You got to tip your cap to the work that the Raiders have been doing. For so many years, Warwick looking up to these two teams that we're watching tonight, Heritage and Woodside, the class of Newport News the past few seasons.
We'll see what Warwick does against them later. Flags all over the place. Again, our
number 1, Roderick.
Head referee, of course, David Gear.
Start. Offense.
And this right here, what we're seeing, Greg, is another casualty of the layoff for the Woodside Wolverines. Just not in sync, getting penalties, silly plays right here, and you see them having to back up.
7:39 left. And a drop. We'll see if Woodside can get it. Looks like they do. We'll wait the official call. We can hear Bill.
Wow.
7:24 left in the first quarter. Still no score. We're hearing all kinds of traffic radar tonight. PA announcer, everybody.
All right, it is Heritage's ball.
It looked like Woodside might have had it, but you got to wait till the official call.
Yep.
That was close.
Either way, it's a good punt by the Woodside special teams because they've really pinned Heritage back in its own territory.
And there's a quick outlet pass. And that's complete.
Wow.
To number 1 for Heritage, respectively, Roderick Webb. And Heritage, of course, had great players in the past like Darius Price, Michael Johnson, Bruce Royal, Daryl Blackstock. Woodside, of course, Jordan Knight, Willie Bell, Billy Knieves.
Yeah. Who could forget that great team from 2000, the Herritage Hurricanes, winning the state championship over Dinwiddie. Still one of the best teams we've ever seen come from Newport News, Greg.
Absolutely. Been 18 years. Still in the first quarter. No score. Heritage with the ball going left to right. And Heritage, of course, likes the multiple I. They're in the 4A division. Woodside, of course, 6A. All that's going to change a little bit next year. The biggest issue with the Virginia High School League is the travel. We still haven't gotten that right.
Yeah. And then we'll see what they do to kind of alleviate some of the concerns that folks have had about that. And it's not a new story, Greg. It's something people have been talking about as long as I can remember. Back when I was in high school, it's something, the travel issues and the distance between the schools is something that's been brought up.
The good thing is a lot of them play the traveling before the school year starts.
Yeah.
Herritage has plenty of time to throw it. Way overthrown.
Good pressure right there by the Woodside Wolverine defense.
Of course, number 16 for the Hurricanes, respectively, Darius Price.
Darius Price, the senior quarterback. He's a good pocket passer. He was the successor to Jeremiah Boyd, who was the quarterback for the Hurricanes last year. Price is somebody to keep your eye on, folks. I think, he's not going to wow you with his arm, but he's somebody that's going to manage that offense and keep this team moving down the field.
And always, in high school at least, the running is always ahead of passing, and the defense is usually ahead of the offense.
Yep. Especially when you got a delay like we've seen the past week, due to the hurricane and everything, where, you're not going to get that time to practice as much as you'd like. You're not going to get that continuity with your teammates. The running game is going to come back to form quicker than that passing game.
Manchu had a great running back in Clifton Richardson a few years ago. Just didn't have the supporting cast to go with it. All right, Herritage got the ball. Incomplete. Nate, you always say once you put your hands on it, you got to make the catch.
Yeah, you got, this is a game where you got two evenly matched teams. You're not going to get that many opportunities, especially when you're talking about separation in the passing game. So if you get your hands on the ball, you got to bring it in, young fella.
6:25 left in the first quarter. Still no score. And, of course, last year, Herritage beat Woodside 25-19. Woodside on the year averaging 24 on offense, giving up 20 on defense. Herritage in 2 games averaging 26 on offense, giving up 31 on defense. I don't think we're going to get nowhere near those type of points tonight.
No, I think this will be a defensive struggle.
Wow. But there's flags all over the place.
Just a lapse in judgment there by the Herritage Hurricanes.
.6:16 left. In quarter number 1, there you see David Gear. Beautiful weather tonight in Newport News after a hurricane threat we never got. We feel sorry for the people of North Carolina. Our hats off to everybody in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, thankfully we were not hit like the early predictions, the early models seem to indicate. But again, we want to send thoughts and prayers to everybody in South Carolina as well as North Carolina as they go on the road to recovery from Hurricane Florence.
Absolutely. Thank goodness it's pretty much over.
Yep.
Except for the flooding is still there.
Yeah.
Woodside's got the ball. And they get some nice yardage there. Nice run by number 22. That's right.
It is right.
Yeah.
Desmond Wright, the sophomore running back. And that's what I like about Woodside. They've got so many different weapons. You got Desmond Wright. You got Bryce Phipps. And let's not forget Deontay Chesson, somebody whose name we've called multiple times over the years, Greg. There's so many weapons that they have in that backfield that's why it's so hard to defeat this Woodside Wolverine wing T, even though it's a very simplistic offense.
No score, 5:50 left. In quarter number 1, kind of a slow first quarter. Woodside in the white going right to left. And nowhere there. Good defense by George Massenberg's team, who likes that 4-3 defense. They were stacking up that time, Nate.
Yeah, and this is going to be the battle, like you said. One of Heritage's weaknesses is that line. And so we're going to see tonight, can they step up? Because this is a big-time game. It's important for both teams, but I think Herritage needs this win more, Greg, to keep their season going the way they want it to go. And so if they want to get that victory, they got to come out here and assert their will in the trenches.
As we've seen, it's very hard to host the playoffs when you lose 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
We did Woodside against Tommy Reamond's Lansdowne team a few years ago.
And home field advantage makes a big difference in the postseason.
And they lost to them on the road.
Yep.
While Heritage lost to Deep Creek. Glad you're with us. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. This is our 28th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and nnpstv.com.
And, of course, folks, don't forget sports highlights recognized by the Newport News City Council. And you're watching prep football on Cox Cable Channel 47 in Newport News and Verizon Fios 17, as well as nnpstv.com and YouTube channel, Newport News Telecom.
Beautiful weather. 4:23 left in the first quarter. And he delayed again, Nate. You saw that he was going to delay a handoff there, and then Heritage read it well.
That's what I like to see from Heritage. They're going in there with reckless abandon right now on the defensive side. Devontae Robinson and those guys up front are doing a great job getting that first push, that first surge once the ball is snapped. And they've got the offensive line going back on their heels. If you're Coach George Massenberg, that's what you want to see from your defense. Be hungry, attack. Make the Woodside Wolverines go 3 and out. And now we'll see if the offense for the Hurricanes can get something going, Greg, because as well as the defense is playing, you're going to need to put some points on the board if you want to beat Danny Dotson and the Woodside Wolverines.
About 79 degrees right now in Newport News. Very nice.
In the middle of September.
We're moving to fall now.
Yeah. Still feels like a summer night.
There you see Heritage in the gray, Woodside in the white. Both these schools have been around since the 96-97 school year.
Yep, the two quote-unquote baby schools in the Newport News School District. But, yes, it has been great to see how these schools have just evolved over the years, and particularly when you talk about Woodside. One of the things I always like to mention, Greg, when we see the cheerleaders getting this crowd hyped here at Todd Stadium tonight, one of the things I always like to mention about Danny Dotson, Greg, is that consistency. And that's where you see the difference between a team that can have a good season here and then lose the next season, and a team that is slowly but surely built for the long haul. There we see the band getting this crowd hyped, talking about for the long haul. But Danny Dotson's been here. This is 20 years of this man's blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and we've seen the results. We've seen Woodside make postseason runs. We've seen Woodside have winning seasons year after year, and that's what everybody else in Newport News. That's what your Denbys is trying to get to. That's what Warwick's trying to get to, and, of course, that's what Menchfield and Heritage want to get to as well.
And here's the thing. Heritage is sticking around, but if you give Woodside enough rope, they're going to reel you in.
Yep.
And they're going to play with you a little bit, but they're going to try to checkmate it in the fourth quarter. They'll only give you so much,
yes,
and eventually will get that win. So Heritage's got to take advantage of some opportunities.
That's the big point, my friend. You got to take advantage of opportunities when they arise.
Like you said, Dotson's got that 20-year tenure on him. Wow. That's just a lot of time. Nice run right there by the Hurricanes. And that is Blizzard. You got Hurricanes, you got a Blizzard out here.
I'm telling you.
Number 2.
That is Travell Blizzard, a great athlete for the Heritage Hurricanes. Did a great job just following his blockers, picking up positive yardage, and that's what you want to see. You want to see that ball control offense. You want to see them move the ball down the field, and this is a great opportunity, a great spot for Coach Massenberg's Hurricanes if they want to take the lead.
Still no score. Heritage going left to right on the TV dial. Glad you're with us. Also on nnpstv.com. Of course, Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Our entire crew for our 28th year. See a nice shot of the scoreboard as well.
And this is a game, I'm telling you folks, do not turn that dial, because this is a game that is not going to be one of those long games, because both teams primarily like to keep the ball on the ground. So we're going to see that clock running more often than if we were watching Denby, who tends to pass a little bit more. So this is going to be a ground game, a slugfest in the trenches, and I think we're going to have a good opportunity here from both teams.
And when you see a pass, it almost looks kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's almost like a trick play. It's a pass out of nowhere. But I really want to see Coach Massenberg be aggressive on these drives here, because, like you said, they're not going to get but so many chances, so many opportunities to score points against a tough, stout Woodside defense.
First, you want to cross the 50, and the next thing is you want to get in the red zone. and that's been difficult with 2:20 left in the first quarter. Heritage is doing a lot of stalling here at the 40-yard line, and you got to convert on third downs.
Yeah, well, see, it's one thing to stall and play that ball control offense, Greg, but it's got to result in points.
Right.
You know, we saw that with the New York Jets. They run a similar offense where they're trying to run down the clock, but if you don't score, you're just wasting time.
And that's another opportunity wasted right there.
Yep.
Woodside, you cannot do but so much against Woodside. When you have an opening, take advantage of it.
Yeah, these opportunities don't come often when you play a team like the Woodside Wolverines, who has had that expertise, been coached by Danny Dotson for so many years, the foundation that he's built with this program. And I think that if you're the Heritage Hurricanes, you got to start taking some chances. You got to be aggressive, Greg. I think that's what I want to see with Coach Massenberg's offense here. I want to see him take some shots down the field maybe, open up that defense for the Woodside Wolverines.
And they are. They're going for it on fourth down. 4th and 5 at the 42. Hurricanes got to make that catch. Flag down. Flag is down. Wow. Nice play, but kind of nonchalant. And the drama last week with the Redskins and the Colts is the low energy. Both these teams got to pick up the energy.
Yep. And that was a good idea, but there we see the holding call on the Heritage Hurricanes. But that's what I wanted to see, Greg. Take some chances.
Right.
Be aggressive. Open it up a little bit. It was a good idea, but unfortunately the holding call brings the play back.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 4th down.
And now you think they'd have to punt. They're not going to go for it this far back.
Probably not. No score. 1:15 left in quarter number 1. Greg Bickaveris along with Nate Milton. And our third reporter, Bill Barlow.
Hey, I feel safe and secure up here. We got the guys in the truck doing work. And, of course, we got Sam Price Security on the case. Oh, good job tonight by Bill Barlow and Ray Price in the truck.
Oh. 58 seconds left in the first quarter. Still no score. Again, both these teams are vulnerable trying to get their kinks out. But you have, and that's what we always used to talk about, what Bob Schmidt said at Denby when he was coaching Denby and Woodside. Get that big play when you're struggling right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a cure-all because it gets the momentum, it gets that energy like you said, Greg. A big play can get that energy going, flowing through your team, and you can start to see the momentum change a little bit, And it doesn't just have to be on offense. It can happen on defense. It can even happen on special teams, but you got to make a play.
All right, bad snap, and Woodside will get it. Wow. Again, the thing is, can you take advantage of it and sustain a drive? It's almost like fishing. You get a few nibbles, but you don't get that bite.
And we saw it like that. They couldn't get the snap down. They tried to make a play happen off of a broken play, ended up fumbling. But in the end, it kind of just results in the same as it would have a punt would have, with the ball going back to the Woodside Wolverines. But you're right, Greg. If they're going to go out here, get on that fishing boat, and try to get this big fish, that is a win over the Woodside Wolverines, you got to come with your best bait. You got to come with your night crawlers. You got to come with your earthworms. You just can't come out here with a plastic fish and try to catch good fish. You got to come out here with your best bait, and that's what we need to see from Heritage tonight.
Outside run right there, no room at all for Tyler Thompson. That freeway is closed, kind of like Newport News, all those detours around. Have you ever seen so many detours in Newport News in your life, Nate?
I tell you what, the traffic around here is unbelievable sometimes. I went to a Tides game recently, and just getting through the tunnel, like it took me about 2 hours to get from here to Norfolk to watch the Tides, and it was amazing. And so, yes, traffic is always going to be an issue around here in Hampton Roads, but for the folks that have made it out here to the stadium tonight, glad they made it. But for you folks watching at home, you got the best seat in the house.
Woodside right there letting the first quarter wind down. Woodside, of course, in the white, Heritage in the gray. Woodside coached by Danny Dotson, Heritage coached by George Massenberg. Final few seconds of the first quarter. We're live on Cox Cable 47, Fios 17, and NNPSTV.com, where it's Woodside 0, Heritage 0 at Todd Stadium. We'll be back after these messages.
Here at the Peninsula SPCA, there are many ways to help out the animals in the community. There is pet adoption, foster care, volunteer work, and even a petting zoo. All these animals need as much help as they can get, and you can be there for them to give them that help. For more information, visit peninsulaspca.org.
All right, back in Newport News, Virginia, Todd Stadium. Greg Picaveras along with Nate Milton. And Nate, the keys here for the rest of the game, first of all, for Woodside.
Yeah, for Woodside, the first quarter's done. You know, we can get all those jitters out the way, get all that rust out of the way from not playing for the last week or so. Now the thing you got to come out here and do is establish the tempo. This is your house. You're the home team. You're the team with the pedigree for the last few years. If you're Woodside, you want to come out here with that wing tee and grind down the Herritage defense.
For Herritage, you got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Herritage has to take advantage of the opportunities, limit the turnovers, and if I'm Coach Massenberg, take risks. I like the risk that he took on the last offensive series. Unfortunately, it got called back with a penalty, but they got to keep pushing the tempo and making some risks.
And you saw some one-side kicks, too.
Yep.
You know, mix it up a little bit. All right, Woodside going left to right. Had two coaches in their tenure, Bob Schmidt and Danny Dotson. And running room galore, but then you get to a point, then you stop.
It's kind of like Hampton Roads traffic. You can drive for a while, but then you get to a point and you stop.
That was Chesson, the train.
And that is somebody who we have not mentioned tonight yet, Greg, but Chesson is somebody over the years who has been a big part of the offense for this Woodside Wolverine team.
And you're going to see a lot of cramps like right now because these guys have been idle.
Yeah.
You can't simulate a game in practice
No.
at high school, college, or the NFL.
Yep, and not only that, you know, not just the fact that these kids have been off for a week, but also, like you mentioned earlier, Greg, it's 80 degrees out here. It's not like it's some cool, crisp night. It's still pretty warm, balmy, as you'd say. And so, yeah, these kids got to stay hydrated. They got to stay loose, you know, because these types of things, cramps, minor injuries like that, can take you out of the game. And they need all their weapons out there if they want to win tonight.
It's kind of like Miami weather.
Yeah.
And walking off the field for Herritage, right there by the 50-yard line, one of their players. All the best to him. 11:50. Battle of North versus South kind of. Woodside way up near Fort Eustis and Herritage downtown.
And if I'm Woodside, I want to see more out of Chesson. You know, we talked about him a lot last year. Daily Press All-Star, the senior leader for this team. I need to see more of Chesson.
But it starts with the quarterbacks, and that was a great move right there by number 2, Thompson.
Tyler Thompson, the junior, 5'10", 150 pounds. He got a lot of experience last year as Jordan Knight's backup for the Wolverines, and now he's getting a chance to drive the car himself. Great run by the young man.
We always acknowledge the head coaches in the first game of all the schools. For Bethel, William Beverly, who went to Bethel. Hampton, Mike Smith, who still hasn't coached yet this year. Phoebus, Jeremy Blunt. Kickingham, Alonzo Coley. Gloucester, John Skelf. Warwick, Corey Hairston. They're undefeated. Menchville, Ray Savage. Denby, Newport News City Councilman B2 Harris. Herritage, George Massenberg. And Woodside, Danny Dotson, as Nate says, the dean. All right, big opportunity here for Woodside on the outside. And that looks like a late hit almost, but it wasn't. You got to be careful of those injuries. And that's number 22, Desmond Wright, on the right side of the ball.
So many weapons in this backfield. And like you said, you're just going through the coaches, Greg. Definitely don't want to skip over Corey Hairston and the job that the Warwick Raiders have done.
And the games he lost, now he's winning.
Yes.
But the thing is sustained. You can't be happy until you sustain it week after week. Now, if you end up going 4-6 or 5-5, what's the point? You want to learn after each game, win or loss.
And that's why I think they might be the team most affected by the layoff, because they were getting into a good rhythm. So we'll see if they can bounce back after that week off.
Woodside going left to right in the white uniforms, and this is where Woodside gets you. They lull you to sleep. They put a lot of English on the ball, and then they get you kind of like, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and their Heritage is falling right into their trap.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. But yeah, they wear you down. And we talked about one of the weaknesses of Heritage so far this season has been that defensive line play. And they looked very aggressive early on, but Woodside is the type of team that can just wear on you through the game. And it's like a boxing match. They just keep hitting you with the body blows, and then by the time you get to that last round, you don't have any strength left because it's been zapped. And I think that's what Woodside can do to you.
And you're mentally defeated. You're right, because it's such a mental game as well. And you're seeing they're getting those 2 or 3 yard runs are becoming 4 and 5 yard runs.
And they have so many different ways to get you to there. You see Coach Massenberg trying to get the team hyped up.
He went to Hampton High School.
A great young coach.
Yep.
But
and we'll do the coaching tenure this quarter. Remember, we got the coaching tenure this quarter. George Massenberg learned a lot from Mike Smith in Hampton.
Yep.
It's been kind of a weird year, no Mike Smith so far. And then his top assistant says, "I'm over it. I'm done."
He pulled Avonte Davis for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, he just said, no matter how long I've known you, I don't need this.
But yeah, I think that
we'll take a look at the coaching graphic after the next play. And you're seeing some consistency among the Newport News coaches. They're staying, even the Ray Savages.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. For, Minchfield and Denby, they haven't had the best record the last few years, but I think having somebody like a Ray Savage stay on, having, B2 Harris stay on, it gives the kids at least some consistency that they can come back to.
Here's Woodside on the run. Quarterback, nowhere. Looking like Jack Tatum out there. Unbelievable hit. If you don't know who Jack Tatum was, Google him. Played for the Raiders and Ohio State. That was a fierce hit by number 5, Antoine Coles. Unbelievable hit. Wow.
Let me tell you, it was a cold world right there.
That's exactly how Jack Tatum used to hit.
Yeah, that was a nice play right there. Good open field tackle by Antoine Coles. A good push.
Clean hit, though. It was clean.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It wasn't a head-to-head combat.
Wasn't too high, wasn't too low. It was perfect, right dead center.
But it was vicious. Football's a very physical game. This is not touch football. All right, let's take a look at our coaching graphic, Nate. Let's take a look at it and the tenure of these coaches. And we're going to start off with Woodside. Danny Dodson since 1999, still from the 20th century. B2 Harris since 2008.
Yeah.
Massenberg since 11, Harrison 14, Savage 15. Like we said, stability.
Right, and that's the thing I like to see, particularly with Minchfield, because Minchfield went through a stretch where it felt like they had a new coach every season. And you can't get any consistency, you can't get any type of stability if you're cycling through coaches all the time. So it's good to see that these schools are following that Woodside template. And
only 2 coaches.
Keeping their coaches on.
Schmidt and Dotson, that's it.
Yep. Very much like the Pittsburgh Steelers model, where they've only had
and who would have thought they would have all the drama this year? Usually they're a buttoned-up, quiet team.
Yeah.
But you had their best player is out jet skiing, right?
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell's out jet skiing. Antonio Brown missed
He's just talking to himself. He's not happy at all. And, Tomlin doesn't like PR. And he's just like, he fits perfectly in the Noel and the Rooney type of mentality of quiet.
And of course, Tomlin, well known around this area, a lot of respect for Coach Mike Tomlin, but something has to happen. I don't know.
He's on the hot seat right now.
I don't know if Bell has to get back in or something's got to happen for that team to turn things around. It's early, but I think a change needs to be made in the locker room. I think Tomlin's a great coach.
And who would have thought the Browns and Bengals were the top of their division?
Hey, we will talk about the Browns here in a second, my friend.
Heritage right there keeping on the ground. All right, what you're seeing now is both these teams are hitting a lull. You need to mix it up and get a big play, maybe a flea flicker, something to mix it up.
Yeah, I think especially if
it's not working right now.
If you're Heritage particularly, I think Heritage is the one that needs to take the bigger risks right now. Because we know what Woodside can do out of the wing T. Heritage, on the other hand, I think they've got to push the tempo. They're the underdogs. They got to come out here, make a statement, and stretch that field, open up the offense a little bit, and make Woodside's defense work.
Call this the biggest game in the South tonight. Low-scoring defensive affair.
Two heavyweights in here tonight.
Like Holmes and Ali, that type of match.
Yep.
I love Larry Holmes, great boxer. Don't forget we got DJ Dozier for our October edition of Sports Highlights, former Penn State football great. And he slips. That's a little moisture on the field there. And that happened during the Nationals game the other night, too. And that right there was number 2.
Hands it off to number 2, Travell
Blizzard.
Travell Blizzard couldn't get anything going on that particular
We're
play.
winding up with baseball here. And by the time we come back to our next game on October, we'll be in the playoffs. Yep. And the biggest disappointment has been the Nationals.
Yeah, you would think the Nationals would have the advantage in that division, but they're looking up. You know, they're looking up at the baby Braves. You know, they're looking up at a Phillies team that's been rejuvenated. So I don't know. There might need to be some changes made for the Nationals in the offseason.
Yeah, Bryce doesn't seem happy. Nope. It's almost like Kirk Cousins. If you're not happy staying there, leave. Because Cousins seemed like he was free with the Vikings mentally.
That's the thing that everybody's, you know, how long before we see Bryce Harper in a Yankees uniform or in a Mets
might as well
uniform?
just go now. We're not going to make the playoffs. Since we're alive tonight, if the Braves win tonight and the Nationals lose, they clinch.
Yep.
That simple.
I've been very impressed with the Atlanta Braves this season, just the talent they've gotten there.
All right, telecom graduate. Okay, telecom rising juniors, that's it. And we're just getting the school year started. We got basketball coming up. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for more information or to schedule a tour. I'm sure Centrino will be glad to hear from you. Call 757-591-4687. You can meet Ray Price. You can meet Chris James, Beth Scott, all the wonderful people at Telecom. Carl Daniels, of course. We call him CD.
I think
the quiet storm.
The tour is worth it just to meet Carl Daniels. I think that's worth the price of admission. But, yes, if you're a rising junior and you have an interest in TV, whether it be in front of the camera or behind the camera, it is definitely a program you should look into.
Staff and students working together. And there you go. You try to experiment, and that's what happens. Incomplete pass. The energy level's got to pick up.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem is, you know, they're waiting to pass until they get later on in the downs. I think come out on first down and try a pass.
Let's take a look at it again.
And here we go, folks. Taking a look here on the instant replay. I think you've got to come out and try something like this on first down to try to catch the other team unaware. And what we saw right there was they just weren't on the same page. They were in the right book, but they were in different chapters, Greg.
We're in chapter 2 of the second quarter, and there's still no score. Let's take a look at the cameras here again. Get a little light there. Looks nice. The flag is blowing well. We're at Newport News, Todd Stadium. Our 28th year in this building. We've been doing games. Decent punt. What kind of roll will it get? No roll at all. Wolverines have it. And maybe they're ready for something here.
Uh-oh.
And special teams could be the factor here.
Well, we were talking about all game, Greg. You need a spark. And that spark can come from offense. The spark can come from the defensive side of the football. But it can also come from special teams. We saw that right there. Great return for the Wolverines. And that could be the key. That could be the spark to get this Wolverine offense rolling.
Don't forget, we'll have the text in the third quarter where you can get involved. Maybe the fans can spark this game a little bit. Because we're 0-0. We need some fan support here. So those of you listening, look for the number coming up in the third quarter.
Absolutely. It's good to be back.
Kind of like our 12th player there.
Yep. And we always like to do it, and it's good to be back here.
No weather issues
No weather
at all.
issues. We got a great game between two tough teams out here on the field, and it is a pleasure to bring it to you folks on Cox Cable 47, Verizon Fios 17, and, of course, nnpstv.com.
Got some other scores that are just come in. We'll pass them along to you. Jamestown leading Grafton 20-0.
2 fouls during the return against the receiving team. Personal foul, receiving team, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, illegal blindside block against the receiving team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Woodside's ball, 1st and 10.
And I want to thank Jim Mayhew for supplying us with the referee cards, doing a great job. We've had him on Sports Highlights, and officials are doing very good tonight.
Yeah, and that is a big-time call, Greg. 2 personal foul penalties on the same play. So that big return, that spark that we talked about, is all for naught. It's been negated. And you know, those are the type of mental errors and mental lapses you can't have if you want to be an elite team.
Folks, come out and support these kids. Newport News has got 4 big events in the fall. High school football is one of them. Celebration of Lights in the winter.
Yep.
The Newport News Festival coming up near Newport News Park, in a few weeks coming up as well, near Fort Eustis. And, of course, the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, October 18th through the 20th. So support. This is one of the big four. High school football at Todd Stadium. It's an event. It's not just a game.
Wow.
And, again, both teams are struggling for momentum. Still no score at Todd Stadium. Somebody's just trying to break through.
And a turnover is not the way to go. I know Danny Dotson cannot be pleased with that. The last few minutes of Wolverine football, very slovenly, very sloppy, a lot of mental errors right there. And now the ball goes back to the Heritage Hurricanes, and they got a great field position now, Greg.
You're making a lot of unforced errors, and that's the problem.
They're kind of looking like Serena Williams at the U.S. Open.
But not as mad, though, at least yet. But maybe by the fourth quarter they might be.
Let's see if Danny. See, the difference in football, though, Greg, is you can give hand signals from the sidelines. You can't.
And in baseball, you saw where Harper got ejected.
Yep.
Where the umpires in baseball, it's a little bit more of a personal relationship.
Yep.
See the fans right there enjoying the game. One guy was just taking a picture of the fans. I've never seen that before. There he is right there in the middle.
Hey, it's all about the selfie nowadays, Greg. It's all about what you can put on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
He's not even taking pictures of the game. He's just taking pictures of the fans. Outlet pass, that's all we've seen. Really nowhere. Number 4 for the Hurricanes. And that's Wooten Ellis.
Wooten Ellis, the sophomore wide receiver, 5'9", 155 pounds. They tried a little trickeration trying to catch him underneath the Wolverine defense, but Woodside quick to sniff that play out and brought him down for not too much of a gain.
We got Sam Price up here with us doing security tonight.
Sam Price Security. You can't put a price tag on safety with Sam Price Security's in the building.
Also want to give our condolences to the Kumbas family for losing Stacy, who was a big Bethel football supporter. May Stacy's memory be eternal. Stacy was a big football and wrestling fan.
Absolutely. Sports is such a big part of the community, and it's something that really brings us together. So I definitely want to send our thoughts and prayers to the family.
6:45 left till intermission. No score at all. So some college games going on this weekend. Tulane at Ohio State, Louisville at Virginia, Virginia Tech and Old Dominion. And, of course, Sunday you got the Cowboys at Seattle, Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay Monday, Redskins hosting the Packers. And, of course, the Packers have struggled so far, too. And we don't like to see ties.
No, we don't like to see ties at all. But it's going to be interesting because, you talk about some of the early stories in the season. Aaron Rodgers not being 100% is one of those. Can he lead the Packers to another victory?
Bad pass. That was just a bad pass right there. No possibility there at all. Again, when you're not used to passing, that's what happens, Nate. You got him, but you have to credit them both for mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, and Darius Price, the senior signal caller for the Hurricanes, Darius Price is a good pocket passer, but the problem is the receivers aren't getting open. They're not getting separation against this.
Or they're not even looking sometimes.
Yep, they're not on the same page against this tough Woodside Wolverine defense, and so it's hard to get your offense going. If the passing isn't working, the running isn't working, you got to get something going.
See, that's the thing about Dotson. Even though his offense is struggling, he knows his defense can sustain till he maybe gets a field goal win. That's all he wants. The surprising thing is both these teams have scored a lot of points this year, but not. It's almost like this is week 1 again.
Well, and I think it's due to the delay, but also due to these teams are so evenly matched. I think they kind of mirror each other. We've seen that over the years, Greg. The thing is, if you're watching this as a fan of the Woodside Wolverines, you don't really feel nervous because they feel much more in control
of the game. This is their type of game.
Yes, this is the type of game Woodside can win in and thrive in. If you're Heritage, you see the clock. The clock is ticking. You don't want to give away so much time because if it comes down to one drive with a tie score at the end of the game, Woodside, to me, is the team that can grind that drive out and steal the game away.
We played 44 minutes. It is 6:09 left till halftime. Glad you're with us on Cox Cable 47 517 NNPSTV.com. Live and in living color. Glad you're with us. Todd Stadium. And after tonight, Woodside will play 40% of their season regardless, and that's when they play the games too early. The problem with playing too early is, you get tired toward the end of the year. When do you have a bye week? You play it early because of weather, but there's nobody there in the stands watching either.
Yeah.
Here comes the supposed pass, but that pass goes nowhere. And a swarm of white jerseys attack Herritage.
And that is a missed opportunity for Herritage. Price had all day to throw. The problem was, again, like you said, the receivers, they're not getting separation. They're not looking back to help their quarterback out, Greg. You know, if you're running 20 yards down the field, you got to check back. Let's see here on the play, folks. If you're running a 20-yard out route, you got to take a look back at your quarterback to see if he's in trouble. And then you see Price is going to take that snap. He's got plenty of time. Nobody's open, though. And there you see kind of like the water breaking through a dam. Once one Wolverine defender got through, the rest kept coming. And if you're Price, you got to get the ball out of your hands quicker, but the receivers have got to bail you out.
And bingo, Woodside's got the ball. B-I-N-G-O. But no score. And we'll see what happens here in the final 5:51.
Yep. And this is the type of game, like you were saying, Greg, Woodside feels comfortable in. This is the type of game they're used to. They can grind it out. Herritage, on the other hand, they've got to make something happen. Whether it's offense, defense, special teams, they got to come out here and press the tempo. They've got to make their own destiny come to pass. You know, they're hanging around with the Woodside Wolverines, two evenly matched teams, but they've got to make a statement. They've got to come out here and establish some offensive consistency, which is what we have not seen thus far tonight, folks.
And Herritage stalled right there, and you don't have all day. You have to be a little bit more proactive than reactive. Both teams do, but you still feel the edge is on Woodside's favor.
It's kind of like the bank analogy we always use, Greg. You know, you can work all week, but if you don't go cash your check and put your time card in, you're not going to get paid. And that's what we've seen from the Hurricanes tonight. They've done a lot of good work. They've plowed the field, but they haven't gone and cashed that time card in, so they're not getting paid. So you're doing a lot of work right now, and you're not getting paid, Coach Massenberg. You guys have got to come out here and cash these checks that they're writing on the field tonight.
Woodside going left to right in the white uniforms. Of course, Woodside this year has beaten Gloucester, lost to Highland Springs, and beaten Kickingham. Herritage lost to War Hill and has beaten Gloucester. That was a long time ago. And Tyson had a good follow there, huh, Bill?
I'm telling you, they tried to make the connection. They couldn't make the connection. Our cameras were on it, though. The receivers weren't on it. Let's take a look right here. You're going to see Thompson trying to connect with Deontay Chesson. I like this idea from Dotson, though, trying to get Chesson out in space.
Kind of wobbly pass, yeah.
Just wasn't right there.
Way overthrown. Intended for number 14, respectively, Chesson, like Nate said. So, with that said, we have 2nd and 10, 5:36 left.
Ooh. Again, not a whole lot going on the ground by the Woodside Wolverines, but again, you feel like they're comfortable here. Danny Dotson is completely comfortable in this type of game, in this type of setting, and Herritage has got to come out here and make some plays, make some stops.
They do, with 5:10 left to the halftime. George Massenberg right there. Learned a lot from Mike Smith, who's been the head coach of Hampton since 1971, but who's not coached a game as of today, September 21st.
Coach is fired up, trying to see if the team can get as fired up as Coach Massenberg.
There's the pass. Finally, a nice completion at the 30 before a Herritage defender stops number 24, respectively, Nate. And that was Ricky Key. Could he be the key?
We'll see if Ricky can be the key to unlock the offense for the Wolverines. Ricky Key Jr., 5'10", 150-pound wide receiver. There we saw the previous play right there where they couldn't make the connection to Chesson. On that last play, though, Ricky Key Jr. was open in the middle. Thompson got the ball to Ricky, and right now we're seeing this is, again, you leave Woodside around for so long, you let them hang around, and eventually that offense will start to wear you down, and we might be seeing it on this drive, Greg.
And this is a nice run right there, trying to mix up the pass and the run up the middle there by Phipps, number 15.
Bryce Phipps, Desmond Wright, Chesson, they've got so many weapons in that backfield that they can use to wear you down. So when one guy gets tired, we'll set the next guy up. And when he gets tired, we got another guy back here who's just as good, if not better, than the other two guys. So that's the danger of playing a team like Danny Dotson's Woodside Wolverines. They can just wear you down and grind you out.
3:50 left here in the second quarter. Woodside trying to get a hole, and they do, and you can see
Still
the
going.
fatigue in Heritage.
Yeah, starting to get a little tired. You know, the defense has been out on the field for a while now, and they're starting to get a little tired. And this is a perfect drive for Danny Dotson and the Wolverines. I think if Danny Dotson has his way, we got about 3 minutes left in the half, Greg. Danny Dotson wants to grind this down, leave very little time left on the
Trying
clock.
to get a score at least.
Get a score.
And what's happened is Heritage is deflated now. They've tried, and it's like you huff and puff trying to blow the dragon down, and it's not working.
And you're winded. You know, you can't blow the house down.
They can't wait till halftime. Still no score.
And I think the first quarter, Greg, we saw just kind of the nerves and the rust from being off for that week. But now you got to come out here and do what you've been taught. Do what you've been doing all season long. And we're starting to see that from Woodside. Heritage, they've had little flashes here and there, but they got to come out here and get a big-time stop here and get the ball back.
No score still. So the advantage for Heritage is it'll be an emotional win if they can stop them here. And right now they're trying to, as Woodside, of course, in the red zone of Heritage.
Tyler Thompson trying to orchestrate this scoring drive here.
2:35 left and counting in the second quarter. Woodside just trying to ground that clock up. But Heritage has been no threat at all to score.
No, and that's the thing. Heritage,
and it's going to be deflating for them.
The Heritage defense has done their job tonight. The Heritage defense has so far maintained defensive pressure on the Woodside Wolverines. The offense, though, has got to string some quality drives together, Greg.
2:10 left. The clock is ticking. In the second quarter. Incomplete. Flag down. Other than that one hit, it's been a pretty clean game.
Yeah. That was an interesting play call right there by the Wolverines, going towards the middle of the field instead of going towards the exterior of the field. See who that penalty's on.
I think we created a monster here with the mic and the referee.
the amount of penalties has increased since we've mic'd them up.
Tyler Thompson's pass
During the play,
intended.
holding, offense, penalties declined, fourth down.
Heritage just looking for any type of edge.
Yeah. So that was a good job right there by the Heritage Hurricanes.
Tell your friends about nnpstv.com.
Absolutely. Don't forget Sports Highlights, Sports Scene, and our sporting events are available on YouTube. Staff and students getting it done here on NNPS TV. On TV, online, on the go. We are your source for local sports on TV, folks. nnpstv.com.
Woodside on the outlet.
Going for it.
And they're in trouble again, going out of bounds. They're just not getting any momentum. I mean, really, it's the score says what it is.
Yeah, and you got to give credit right there to Heritage for shutting them down. I don't know if I would have gone for it on fourth down, but who am I to question the dean, Danny Dotson? Danny Dotson has forgotten more about football and coaching than I will ever know, but it'll be interesting. Like, I think Woodside is not playing with a sense of urgency because, like you mentioned, Greg, they're comfortable here. They're good in these slugfests. Heritage, though, I think Heritage is getting to the point where they've got to start scoring or it's just going to get too late.
You see Dotson in his traditional khaki shorts.
The iconic
Jimmy Laycock, who's finally retiring away, married. Want to give him a shout out. Ray and I did an interview with him years ago in Collegiate Sports Focus. And Laycock has been in William Mary for, 39 years.
Yeah.
He was a former assistant at Clemson.
So most of our audience can't remember a time when Jimmy Laycock has not been there.
Yep, but after this year, there'll be a new coach. He won't beat Paterno's record, but still, that's 39 years at one school. And he's beaten Virginia over the years.
That's what we call job security.
Yes. Taking it to the bank.
But yeah, so many great coaches in the high school and collegiate level in this state. And again, Coach Laycock, certainly one of those legends you have to tip your cap to.
All right, we have 1:25 left till halftime. Would Heritage doesn't want to do is try to do any trick or treat right now.
Yeah, you don't want to turn the ball over. That could be the worst thing for you.
It's a moral victory for them to be tied at 0.
Wow.
And that player will go out of bounds. The problem is they're way back in their own territory, and they only have 70 seconds left. Don't forget our third quarter text contest coming up where you can get involved in the football game. Interaction.
See the pass to Khalif Jemison.
Except during tape replays, of course, Nate will say the lesson's the 21st.
Khalif Jemison doing a great job getting to the outside. The transfer from Hampton Roads Academy, I've been very impressed with him this season. We haven't seen much of him tonight, though, Greg.
Both teams have been quiet offensively. This has been a defensive battle. Even the coaches are quiet tonight.
I think everybody's just kind of getting back into the swing of things after the worries about the hurricane and all last week.
And good defense by the Wolverines.
Wow.
The game in the South is living up to it on defense and not offense.
Telling you,
and that was number 74, respectively. Josh Hartley.
Josh Hartley, the big fella, coming in there making a play.
Let's take a look at it again. It might be the play of the game tonight, Nate, right here.
This is what it's all about.
It's almost like a wrestling
Great
move.
tenacity by Josh Hartley, the All-Peninsula District first-team selection. The kid is smart. The kid is strong. And right there, we saw he had bad intentions for the quarterback. Great job by Hartley and that Woodside Wolverine defense.
Looking like Johnny Valentine out there.
And he looked like he wanted a Hungry Man dinner out there. Like he hadn't eaten all week long. And Darius Price was out there looking like a pork chop sandwich.
Oh, wide open and incomplete. Intended for number 1, Roderick Webb. Kind of like he was stuck in his own spider web.
If he connected with Webb, though, they had a nice chance for a big play opportunity.
That's what we've talked about. It's going to come down to the big play. We've talked about it before when Bob Schmidt was coaching Denby and Woodside before. You'd always say, if you're struggling, you got to get a big play or stop a big play.
That's the biggest thing I've seen so far in the first half, Greg. The biggest issue for Heritage is the quarterback and receivers. They're just not quite on the same page. Their rhythm's just a little bit off, and I don't know how much of that is not practicing for a week and how much of it is, you're in here in a big game on TV.
The schedule is all jumbled right now. You got some teams playing early weekdays.
Yep.
And they're
teams playing on Tuesday.
and have to get up and go to school the next day. That's difficult. Final few seconds. Woodside all over them like a swarm of bees.
Wow.
Incomplete. Just not able to connect. Somebody's got to step up here in the second half.
I'm telling you, too many white
4
jerseys.
seconds.
Too many white jerseys around that football.
What do we got coming up at halftime?
Oh, at halftime, we've got a great set of interviews. It's going to be interesting to see what the coaches have to think, how they prepared for this ball game, Greg. We're going to hear from Coach Massenberg as well as the dean himself, Coach Danny Dotson.
And we're the only ones who show bands, college or the NFL. They don't show the band, except a little bit during the crowd shots.
And the band, to me, that's part of football. That's part of what makes it such a community event. The music, the halftime show. So we got coaches, we got bands, we got so much for you folks. Do not
I got my band shoes on tonight.
Greg, you always have your dancing shoes on, though, Greg.
Right. Sammy Davis Jr., remember him?
Mr. Bojangles.
Yep. He was great. All right, this probably be the last play of the half, and indeed it is.
Uh-oh.
And Woodside's number 52 makes the stop, and that was Hardrick.
Where was that all game?
We're at halftime with the score. Woodside 0, Heritage 0. Nate, give us a quick recap real quick.
I can give you the scoring recap in 2 seconds, Greg. 0-0, no offense yet, no scoring yet. But if Woodside can put together plays like that last play, that's what they need to get back into this ballgame.
The key is sustain. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer.
Our younger students have the right idea. Today's leading careers are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Newport News Public Schools has embarked on an aggressive STEM education initiative that prepares students to take full advantage of STEM opportunities in higher education and career fields. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Research shows that reading aloud is the single most important thing you can do to help a child prepare for reading and learning. More than 15% of young children, 3.1 million, are read to by family members fewer than 3 times a week. Only 48% of young children in this country are read to each day. Is 15 minutes enough to make a difference?
Yes.
All right, enjoy the halftime festivities and the wonderful Heritage Band. Enjoy.
Avante, Mayhem Lewis, and last but not least, Mr. Marquise with that smooth groove before. Drum majors, pick up the pace and twirl your mace and step high in this place. The field is yours. The Marching Storm will present to you the statement show with Sounds Forum, No, Ready or Not, Shame, and Can We Talk, and Toxic.
Telecommunications Center is an award-winning television production facility for high school students in the Newport News Public Schools. Students can learn studio, remote production, audio operation, editing, directing, and much more. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment. The center has graduates working for MTV, ESPN, CNN, Entertainment Tonight, and Tyler Perry Studios. If you want to jumpstart your career in broadcasting, contact your guidance counselor or call 591-4687.
Hi, my name is Barbara Smith, and I'm with the Newport News Public Schools Department of Transportation. At the bus stop, students should stand away from the road in an orderly fashion and always be mindful of other people's property. While on the school bus, students should always behave, keeping their hands, heads, and any other objects inside the bus so as not to distract the driver from keeping their eyes on the road. Motorists must stop for a school bus and remain stopped until the bus's lights are off and begins to move again. Here at Transportation, our number one objective is the safety of the children.
Ultimate Frisbee is a team sport in which players seek to score points by passing a Frisbee to a teammate over the opposing team's goal line. For more information, contact your local recreation center.
All right, welcome back to our intermission report right here. Greg Picaveras along with Nate Milton, 0-0. First of all, kudos to the band.
Absolutely great job by the marching storm for the Herritage Hurricanes. And that is not all we've got for you here at halftime, folks. Sierra Hendricks, our student reporter, had a chance to speak to the coaches before the game, and we're going to go right now to hear Sierra Hendricks talking with George Massenberg of the Herritage Hurricanes.
Good evening, I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News, and today I'm joined with Coach Massenberg. Coach, do you have a superstition or routine before a big game?
Yes, I'm kind of superstitious. We always get on the bus the same way, and I have to make sure that I have my cup of coffee and sunflower seeds.
Okay, so how do you manage to stay focused with interruptions like the weather going on?
That's a great question. We stay focused. We made sure the guys were watching film. We contacted the guys through our group chat to make sure that they were basically just doing a little bit of running when they were able to, and basically just made sure that they were just staying focused all throughout the week when we were out.
And at this point in the season, how do you think the team is doing?
I think the team is basically, they've been working very, very hard at practice, and I think that they're getting better each day. So that's very, very important, just to get better every day.
And how do you feel about the lineup against Woodside today?
It's going to be a very, very competitive game. They're a well-coached team. Coach Dawson does a great job with them. But I'm confident in our guys. 5800 family, we always come to play, and I'm excited about what the outcome could be.
Okay, last question. Who is the best high school in Newport News?
Herritage High School, 5800 family.
Thank you. That concludes this interview. Thank you so much. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. Back to the booth.
All right, great job by our student reporter, and of course, it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah, it's still up for grabs. It's still anybody's ball game. Coach Massenberg obviously not biased right there with his prediction for the game, but we got to hear from the other side.
Now we're going to hear what Danny Dotson says.
Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. Today I'm joined with Coach Danny Dodson from Woodside High. It is your 20th season coaching, correct?
That's correct.
Is there anything about the game that still surprises you?
There's always things that come up, different things that happen throughout the course of a game, but for the most part it's the same football game.
And speaking of surprises, how does your team manage to stay focused given the interruptions with the weather and all?
Well, it's tough on everybody. Everybody's got the same interruptions. It's been interesting. This has probably been one of the toughest years from that standpoint with all the heat issues we've had and thunderstorms and a hurricane. But all I can do is just keep on going.
And last question, how do you feel about the lineup against Herritage tonight?
Well, I certainly hope we win. I think Herritage is a good football team. I think we have two good football teams together, and it should be a really good game.
I agree. Thank you, Coach Dodson. This concludes my interview. This is Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. Back to the booth.
I love it when they say NNPS TV News.
Hey,
that's the best part. She's doing great.
You know, in an era where sometimes the credibility of the news is questioned, Greg.
That ain't fake news.
We don't have fake news here at NNPS TV. Great job by Sierra talking to both coaches.
Absolutely. Of course, again, we want to give our condolences to Stacy Coombs.
Absolutely. You know, you talk, again, just the fabric of the community.
Big Bethel football supporter.
Seeing, you know, how football and in these high school athletics ties us into the community, and then Stacy certainly is somebody that will be missed, somebody that we've seen over the years at these events.
Worked at Harris Teeter over here.
Yep. And so, you know, anytime you lose somebody like that, it hurts, but, you know, a way to honor the person that is gone is to respect and cherish the things that they respect and cherish. And Stacy's certainly a big supporter of high school football. And so, you know, again, thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family. Stacy, you will be missed.
Absolutely. We'll be putting up our third quarter graphic here, and let's get it rolling here now. Give us your opinion about high school. Give us a shout out. Yep. Say where you're watching at, what you're eating, you know, what you're doing on a Friday night. Obviously, you're saving a little money. We'll go ahead and put the text graphic up, and go ahead, Nate, give it out.
Absolutely. 757-291-4234. That is the number for the text line, but this is the number for Fazoli's folks.
They feed our crew. Let them feed you. Michelle and the crew do a great job. Pizza, pasta, subs, salads. They take care of sports highlights and our games, live games. For more, go to Fazoli's.com. Visit them in Chesapeake and Newport News. Great Italian food. Great breadsticks. Yeah. And great salads.
Absolutely. You know, I had a couple slices of pizza before the game, Greg, you know, to get my carbs up for this big matchup we had tonight. So, again, shout out to Michelle and the team at Fazoli's. They feed our crew, folks. Let them feed yours. And if you got a smartphone, check out Fazoli's on the Fazoli's app.
Everybody's got an app now. The problem is a lot of these apps drain your phone battery.
Yes,
it starts off at 100% and it goes down to zero quick.
Drain
like,
your battery.
Like a babysitter.
I need more memory on my phone now because I've got all these great apps on my phone. Remember when a phone used to just be something you called somebody on?
Not anymore. No more busy signals. Now it's scam likely.
Now you got a mini computer walking around in your hands.
We'll take care of the text contest here in just a few moments. Underway. Third quarter here at Todd Stadium. Somebody's got to get a big play here. It's like they're running on caboose on the train.
Yeah, that was a good return right there by the Wolverines. We'll see if that sets them up here starting the second half of the ball game, Greg. And it'll be interesting to see what adjustments the teams have made at halftime because we've got two good coaches, two evenly matched teams. And I think whoever makes the proper adjustments, makes the proper recalibrations, that'll be the team that comes out on top tonight.
No score, 11:52. In the third quarter, Woodside's got the ball with that wing T offense for Danny Dotson he's done for 20 years. Perennial postseason. Both these teams made the postseason last year. Woodside lost to Tommy Raymond in Lansdowne. And, of course, Dotson coached under Tommy Raymond at Ferguson. And Herritage and George Massenberg lost to Deep Creek. Of course, congratulations to the new AD at Herritage, Mike Gardner, the former basketball coach, replacing Dwayne Peters, who's moved on.
Absolutely. Want to give a shout out to both gentlemen. But yes, you know, the faculty and the staff here at these schools have done a great job over the years. But Woodside, I think they want to come out and get this big win to not only have the faculty hyped, but have the student body hyped, have the people here at Todd Stadium tonight hyped. We're going to see if Danny Dotson and this offense can get something generated.
And right now, they didn't get anything generated there. They went backwards. Referee's doing a good job of controlling the tempo there. And also, congratulations to the new superintendent, Dr. George Parker. All the best to him and his family.
Yes, you know, it's going to be interesting to see the leadership of the regime under Dr. Parker. And again, you know, the caliber, the quality, Greg, of the faculty here in Newport News school system has always been top-notch. And I think that it'll be something that just continues with Dr. Parker.
No score. Woodside in the white, Herritage in the gray. These two arch rivals. Last year, Herritage won 25-19. I don't think we're going to sniff 44 points tonight. Flags all over the place. All right, let's get that text contest rolling. Spice this game up.
encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
All right, we got the graphics page for it too. Text us a shout out where you're watching, where you're listening, 757-291-4234 if you're live tonight.
Absolutely. If you're watching live tonight, if you're watching this game in the future, the text lines will be down. But if you're watching us live tonight, folks, 757-291-4234. Give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching.
And a nice run there by the Wolverines. Trying to spice it up a little bit.
Starting to gain some traction right now with Phipps on the interior. Bryce Phipps, not the biggest running back, but he's somebody that can find a way to follow his blocks and get in between the tackles to pick up positive yardage. And Woodside, they're not doing anything flashy, Greg. They're not, this team is going to come out and throw the ball all over the field, but they are picking up first down after first down.
With 10:04 left in the third quarter, you see the referee there, David Gear, putting it in the right gear tonight, keeping this game moving. A little under 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Texas, a hello. Where are you watching? Live football at its best. We're calling it the Game of the South tonight. 757-291-4234.
Give us a shout out. Shout out a player if you're watching at home and you got a player on either of these teams.
Or any team. No score. 9:34 left in the third quarter. Both these teams need to just get some momentum going. Put away, like you said, the first half. All right, we're getting our text going. Well, it'd be nice to get it on the screen, too, so people can see the number on the screen. And we are blowing up here. All right, what's going on, everyone? It's Dion. It's been a slow game, but I'm watching from home. I miss you guys. Thank you, Dion.
Shout out to Dion.
Dion, what are you eating tonight?
Prime time.
757-291-4234. This is live interaction of the future.
Absolutely. It's all about connectivity. It's all about that interaction between the audience. And again, 757-291-4234. If you're watching it live tonight, hit us up, folks. Let us know where you're watching from and your thoughts on the game, because this has been a defensive struggle. Can you add a little spice to this ball game tonight?
Because like Dion said, nobody scored. He's exactly right. 757-291-4234.
I mean, if you're a fan of defense, this is, we're giving you an early Christmas
present.
Hey,
tell us, is Old Dominion going to score a field goal tomorrow? There it is.
There you see, beautiful graphic on the screen.
Great job by Ray and the crew.
Student, staff, and crew doing a great job here tonight, folks.
We'll get to them in the fourth quarter as well. Heck, they might be the MVP tonight.
I'm telling you.
And out of bounds goes number 2, but there's the flag.
Yep.
Thompson goes out. T-squared.
T-squared. I'm telling you, you talk about our crew real quick, Greg. They were out last week as well due to the weather. And so, they've come back to this game not missing a beat. You got to give credit to the student crew.
We did our practice game a few weeks ago.
Yep.
But you've seen the trend. Baseball and basketball are right there on the heels of football.
And the thing with basketball.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Remember, they do play overtime,
too. And a penalty on the Wolverines. But the thing about basketball, Greg, is it's almost become a year-round sport. Like this week, they talk about Jimmy Butler. Is he going to be traded? The Kawhi Leonard trade, like free agency.
They're more active on social media.
The NBA is more active on social media. It feels younger and hipper than the NFL. So I think the NBA is more of a global sport as well. So basketball catching up to football.
It's a quicker game. Plenty of room. Screen pass, incomplete. Nate, you got to make those catches. This is not week 1, although it feels like it.
Yeah, it's almost like a reset. It's almost like we took a halftime on the season. Again, 757-291-4234 is the number to text. And holler at us, and we'll give you a shout-out, folks. Again, you can text us. Let us know where you're watching this ball game, any thoughts you might have on the game, what you're eating.
You had pizza. That pizza went by quick, didn't it?
I tell you, Fazoli's does a great job. The pizza was hot, fresh. Everybody enjoyed it. I got a couple slices. Again, shout out to Fazoli's.
9:22 left in the third quarter. Right at the 50, gridlock, good pigskin football. and the outside looking very well. Bethel used to do that a lot with Rodney Howard, where if it was struggling up the middle, you'd pitch out on the outside.
Yeah, and the thing is, Woodside has the athletes to do that. You know, we talked about Phipps. We talked about Wright, and especially Chesson. Chesson, the senior leader in that backfield, maybe the best offensive weapon they have. We haven't called his name a lot tonight. I need to see more Chesson to get this train moving.
Somebody's got to make that big play. Remember, this is a no-smoking facility at Todd Stadium as well.
Absolutely. I think that's kind of the standard everywhere. Like even at professional stadiums, no smoking is allowed these days. I just think that's good.
Flags all over the place. Now, we didn't see a lot of flags in the first half, but we're seeing a lot in the first few minutes. Text us a hello. Give us a shout-out. Like the graphic said, 757-291-4234.
And Chesson, a Daily Press All-Star last year, had over 1,000 yards combined rushing and receiving. His brother, D'Angelo, who we talked about for years, ended up attending North Carolina Wesleyan as a defensive back. So the Chessons have a long history and lineage here at Woodside. I think Chesson's the guy that's got to get the Wolverines back on track.
All right, the game in the South tonight, still 0-0.
Jordan run. Jordan to play. Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay third down.
Woodside and Herritage both struggling early on. That's been the theme. But it's getting late early, as Yogi would say. 9:07 left in the third quarter. Still no score. For these teams, they're averaging so much a game. That's what's surprising. Woodside averaging 24 on offense, giving up 20 on defense. Herritage averaging 26 on offense, giving up 31 on defense.
Yeah, and this is still a game that favors Woodside, I think. If the game continues this way, Greg,
they're used to it.
That can muck it up. They can slug it out in the trenches. Herritage, on the other hand, they got to push the tempo if they want to win this
This
thing.
is their MO for Woodside. They're going for the bomb. Way overthrown. Good coverage there by the secondary of Herritage.
Yeah, Herritage, good coverage. But Woodside had a step right there. If they were able to connect on that play, that could have been a big gainer for Tyler Thompson if he was able to connect with his receiver, because he had a step on the Herritage defense.
This will be interesting how this season evolves.
Yeah, it's kind of like it feels almost like if there were a strike or something in the middle of a season, and then they resume the season heading into the playoffs. You know, all the momentum you had, can you regain it? Can you keep it going? Or is it truly like you're restarting the whole season?
And the coaches are creatures of habit. They don't like distractions or interruptions. And this season, you got games during on Tuesdays. It's just been, all over the place. Wobbly punt on this balmy night, and even the punt goes backwards. Still no score. Third quarter.
Yeah, the question, Greg, is does that break? Is it a new start? Is it a fresh start? Or is it something that messes up your rhythm? And, of course, folks, speaking of rhythm, I want to send a rhythmic shout-out to our great audience. Thank you for watching, and a shout-out to all the locals and tourists checking us out on Verizon Fios 17, Cox 47, and, of course, NNPSTV.com.
A lot of the tourists watching in the hotels, getting room service.
Hey, there were folks last week in hotels because we weren't sure what was going to happen with the storm. And so I know that the hotels increased last week in terms of occupancy. But shout out to all the great job that the hotels and restaurants in the area did during the hurricane scare last week.
Watch it on your phone or your computer, like we said. On TV, online, on the go. We are your source for local sports on TV, NNPSTV.com. Nate and I can even watch it on our phones, too. Aren't we advanced?
I'm telling you, folks, Hampton Roads Spell Sports, NNPSTV.com. It's a pleasure to bring these games to you, folks. And don't forget, since you're on your phone, social media, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at HR Online Mallcom, at Nate Mosaic, at HRSMHOF, at GJBTV, at WHKTAM 1650, all on Twitter. Thank you for following. And while you're following all that, follow Cospod, KOS_POD on Twitter.
Here's a great graphic. Thank you so much. Greg Bick, Sports Highlight, N8 Mosaic.
There it is, folks. Follow us on Twitter. Social media is so important nowadays. in the landscape of things.
Even our buddy Beth Scott was taking pictures during sports highlights. There's George Massenberg.
George Massenberg, hashtag I'm upset. He's doing his best Drake right now.
He is sweating tonight, too.
Trying to get the team. And that's the thing. It's the middle of September, folks. It should be fall weather, and it feels like a summer night tonight here at Todd Stadium.
Look, the game is on our phone right now, too. Technology at its best.
Unbelievable, folks.
We got it right on our phone. On your computer,
and again,
on your TV.
Got to give a shout out to the adult staff and the student crew bringing you this game tonight, folks. There are college programs that don't have this level of proficiency with their broadcast, and these are juniors and seniors in high school bringing you the sights and sounds of this ball game tonight, folks. So you got to give them credit.
We got it live on our phone. You can put it on your phone too. nnpstv.com. Hit the live webcast link by texting 757-291-4234. It's unbelievable, isn't it, when you think about it?
Absolutely.
Can your phone do that, Nate? You don't have that flip phone still, do you?
I'm telling you, unless you have a flip phone, I'm sure there's somebody out there with a flip phone watching.
It's awkward seeing somebody with a flip phone.
Upgrade to a smartphone so you can watch the game on your phone.
And again, sloppy at its best.
Price throwing off his back foot after feeling the pressure.
No score, 704. That's the area code of Charlotte for the most part. No score. Greg Bickavera, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Interact all the time with us, 24/7 on Twitter.
Yep.
That's one thing about Twitter. It's not as front and center. Facebook comes across as like, hey, look at me, you know.
Twitter's a little bit less pretentious.
Right.
And you can talk to anybody on Twitter. You know, you can talk to your favorite athlete. You can talk to me and Greg. You can talk to the president. You can talk to anybody on Twitter.
They might not respond, but they at least see it maybe.
Yes.
It'll still say notification.
You can talk to anybody. I think that's one of the great things about social media. It connects us.
Heritage mixes it up, and Woodside Wolverines and Danny Dodson's strict 3-4 defense counter-puncher. Woodside been like a counter-puncher attacking that multiple eye of George Massenberg.
Yeah, we had a great fight the other night in boxing with Canelo Alvarez taking on Triple G. And with that fight, you know, you saw it was kind of back and forth. Each guy giving their best shot. And right now we're seeing a prize fight between Woodside and Heritage. The problem is, though, I think Heritage is playing into Woodside's hands. Woodside doesn't have a problem getting low in the trenches. Heritage, on the other hand, I think their offense has to be more up-tempo, more free-flowing, and unfortunately, it's like they've been fighting in a phone booth tonight, and that's what Woodside and Danny Dodson can do all night.
Woodside's like a counter-puncher. If you guys remember the way Jimmy Connors played tennis, constantly getting the ball back. That's what Woodside's going to do. They're going to grind it.
Yeah.
Not going to be pretty. Both these teams are the powerhouses of Newport News football. Heritage, of course, won the state championship under John Quillen. To me, though, you talk about Quillen, the biggest win that he ever got next to the state championship was in '89 when he coached at Denby on this field, beating Hampton in '89 when he was at Denby. That was unheard of, Denby beating Hampton. And Quillen did it.
We talked about Mike Tomlin earlier being part of that. And the thing is, you know, you talk about counterpunches, and it brings to mind one of my favorite athletes that we see a great run. But one of my favorite athletes from this area, Greg, Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Right.
Sweet Pea Whitaker was able to take your best shot, slip it, and give you his best shot. And I think that's what we just saw right there from the Woodside Wolverines. They can take anything you can give them and come back with their own offense.
Sweet Pea, of course, boxed in the Hampton Coliseum and the Norfolk Scope over the years.
Hall of Fame, Sweet Pea Whitaker. Boys, don't forget on Twitter, GJB Radio on Twitter.
And ain't Mosaic. Nate's got to be complicated, of course.
Hey, I got to be fancy.
So we're going out getting a bite after the next game, right?
Yeah, we got to go get some wings.
Maybe the fans can see us.
An annual tradition.
We might tell the fans where we'll go. But not yet, not tonight.
We're in Newport News and Nate and Greg and hide and seek. You can find us out at one of the local establishments.
Let me see that crew list just for a second.
Again, shout out to our great staff and crew here, bringing this game to you.
Having fun with you guys on the air. Thank you for the response. Flags all over the place. Woodside trying to finally get some points here. Funny how Martinez, the manager of the Nationals, says we're trying to score points too. I wonder if he knows what sport he's in.
It's going to be interesting. Like I have been very impressed.
Getting rid of Dusty was a big mistake, though.
And again, I think sometimes teams make changes for the sake of change. And we talked about earlier with the consistency. If you have consistency from a coaching standpoint, then you can have a more stable foundation for your franchise. And I have not seen that from the Nationals.
Not this year, at least.
Well, the Nationals, as Tony Kornheiser would say.
They're all doing podcasts now.
Everybody's doing a podcast. Where's your podcast at, Greg?
It's Sports Scenes on YouTube and the radio.
Absolutely.
I still like traditional radio and TV. 5:06 left. Still no score. Woodside is threatening, though. We're here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Our good friend Paul Odette. He's the father of Tyson Odette. All right, Sierra has a great interview coming up. Stay tuned.
Good evening, I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News, and today I'm joined with drum major Avante Lewis from Herritage High School. First off, I want to say that was a great field show. We all enjoyed that. But how do you feel this year's roster compares to the past band season we've had?
Well, I feel like it's better because I have more people to actually like what they're doing and show their support. And I have lots of parents that show their support, and we can all get together as a family. We all treat each other nice. So, it's much better than last year because last year we didn't really get along very well.
And what do you feel the marching band gives to the school?
I feel as if the marching band gives the school some enthusiasm. When we were down, we had some music to jam to. During football games, they'll be so dry without us. I feel like during pep rallies, we need that. You need something to hype us up. We can't be boring all the time. So we need that inspiration. That excitement.
Okay. And I know that last season you played saxophone for Herritage, and now you're drum major. How was that transition?
Well, the transition was very interesting because I had a lot of challenges to go through. I had to try out, and then after trying out, I had to, keep myself together because, if I mess up, I can lose my spot. There's always a chance where I could be replaced. So, it's better in a way because I'm higher powered, but it's worse because I'm looked at more on everything I do.
Okay, and as we can see on the field show, you guys are at a pretty high level right now. Do you think you can improve from here, or?
Honestly think I can improve from here because I know college is 100 times worse, and I feel like if I keep practicing, keep working at it, I can get to the level I really want to be.
Thank you so much, Avante. That's all the questions I have. This concludes our interview. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. Back to the booth.
Nice interview right there, and of course, good touchdown by Chesson.
Yeah, and Avante Lewis just said it right there. The young man said it with his chest. The marching band gets the team hyped, and he was on the microphone being interviewed by Sierra, and what do you know? Woodside scores the first touchdown. They draw first blood, and it is the senior, Chesson, the man we've talked about all night long, Greg, finally getting through for the Woodside Wolverines, and now we're going to see can Herritage respond.
Just like Fred Smoot, the former Redskin, said he didn't find a mic he didn't like.
And that young man has a bright future. I think he either in music or commentary. Maybe we'll get him up here in the booth.
We got our next game coming up on October the 12th. 6 points still for Woodside.
Interesting.
That might be enough.
Now let's take a look at the score, folks. Again, simple play out of that wing T. And it was just a matter of Chesson getting that momentum.
As we always text our friend scoreboard, we get these texts saying scoreboard. You're right, scoreboard at 6-0 Woodside, and really that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious as to why Danny Dotson went for the two-point conversion. Maybe he wanted to put the game out of reach even this early in the second half. But I think now we're going to see, can Herritage respond? 6 points, you can score and take the lead, but you got to come out here and get some type of tempo going, get some type of flow going, some rhythm, and we haven't seen any rhythm from this Heritage team on offense all night.
And Heritage is starting to run out of gas a little bit. And once it happens is you get deflated. The counter puncher punches and punches and punches, and after a while you're like shaking up.
Kind of, keep going back to that boxing analogy, rope-a-dope, rumbling in the jungle. Muhammad Ali lets you wear yourself out, and then you're easy pickings, George Foreman.
You see, Sweet Pea and Sugar Ray were very similar, where they would dance, and they'd be winded by the time you laid on a punch. They still had gas left.
And we'll see if there is anything left in the tank for Heritage.
Nobody can dance like Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, he is the ultimate. As good as Sweet Pea was, he wasn't at Sugar Ray Leonard's level. No way.
If Dancing with the Stars were around back then, Sugar Ray Leonard certainly would have been one of the winners.
Best maneuvers I've ever seen in boxing. Tyson was my favorite boxer.
And there was no dancing with Mike Tyson.
No, it was like a minute or two and he was done.
Now the ball is literally and figuratively in the hands of George Massenburg and the Heritage Hurricanes.
And they're giving Heritage opportunities. I mean, they have a chance to get a touchdown, get an extra point, and all of a sudden you're up 7-6.
They're still
they're
in
not
this game.
seizing the opportunity.
Nope. And we've seen it all night long, Greg. The opportunities have been there. They've had chances against this Woodside Wolverine defense. They just haven't been able to take advantage of it.
Live interaction. Glad you're with us here on Cox Cable 47, 517, NNPSTV.com. Thanks to Sonny Dirth for putting it in the Daily Press TV radio long calendar as well. So we keep on seeing that no smoking graphic on the scoreboard. I think they got the point. Nice crowd here tonight. Like to see some more people come out. Beautiful weather, because it's always nice to come out when the weather's nice.
Yeah, I think maybe the offenses took notice of that sign, Greg, because the offenses haven't been smoking all night. There's been no fire to the offense.
We get these texts, scoreboard. You're right. The Woodside alumni love it. It's 6-0. Can it sustain, though?
Yeah.
So thank you for those scoreboard texts.
And doesn't matter if it's pretty or ugly, if it's a defensive struggle or an offensive blowout, a win is a win.
The Heritage is struggling up in the air. See the crowd right there enjoying their game.
Always a good night out here at Todd Stadium. Friday night football, a big part of the community, big part of the tradition and the fabric of Newport News.
Fans enjoying it, kicking back. Of course, food goes to football so well, too. You got to eat.
Yep. And again, shout out to the good people of Fazoli's, Fazoli's.com. If you're on your phone right now, get on the Fazoli's app.
You get all kinds of rewards for getting on apps.
Food and football go together.
Yep. Great apps. They drain the battery, though. Goodness. Heritage again being reactive. You got to make the move. Even though you got daylight, you have to take advantage of it, because eventually that defensive line will cut through.
And it's not like Heritage doesn't have any athletes, Greg. They got some good athletes on the offensive side of the ball. They're just not making anything happen right now.
6-0 Woodside. Of course, a touchdown by Chesson, just a play-action fake.
Yeah, and nothing fancy by Woodside. Heritage might have the better athletes on offense, but the thing is, you can have a fancy car, Greg, but if you never take it out of the driveway, you're not going to get anywhere with it.
Heck, take it out of the garage first.
Coach Massenburg's sitting over here with a Maserati with a Bugatti. He got a new Bugatti with this offense here, and for whatever reason, the offense just has not gotten into the good flow, into a good rhythm tonight.
Here's the punt. Looks like Heritage got those color rush uniforms you see on Thursday Night Football a lot. Flags all over the place.
Very sweet uniforms. Again, flags on the play on the return.
Of course, Nate and I will do our Halloween candy for the next game, our top 5. I guess we get to the playoffs, we'll do our Thanksgiving favorites.
There you go. Always comes back to food. The universal truth.
Now look right here. The Mets are leading the Nationals 4-1. It's still early in the, well, not that early. Getting close to
During the return,
6th.
illegal block in the back. Against the return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
The Phillies and the Braves are tied, and again,
if the Braves win, Nationals lose.
Turn out the lights, the party's
over. They can put
over.
the reserves in the game. Now, playing with a 25-man roster in the postseason is very difficult.
Yeah, and we'll see. And again, I think the Braves are a year ahead of schedule. With a lot of
they're going to win the division.
With a lot of those young players, so this will be an interesting test. With the young guys like Acuna and Albies to see.
Acuna is excellent.
He's going to be something special. If he stays healthy, he's going to be something special down the line.
Woodside just going to ground it out. Now Woodside's known for milking the clock. This is their type of football right now. They've lulled Heritage to sleep. They got a little bit of a lead. They probably need at least another field goal or something, though.
Yeah, folks, we all know Danny Dotson's a great football coach, but I think in a former life he was a farmer. Because you're right.
Or hypnotist.
But nobody milks the clock like Danny Dotson. I think, they get a lead, whether it's a big lead or a small lead, and they just whittle that clock away.
Danny Dotson's kind of like Lou Holtz was. He'll say, we still struggle no matter what.
Yeah.
Coaches are never 100% happy. But a win is a win, though.
Yep. Yeah, there's always something on tape a coach can critique.
Not this play, though. The play of the game. Excellent run right there by number 15, Phipps. Wow. Daylight in the nighttime of Newport News.
Sophomore running back Phipps with the play of the game for the Woodside Wolverines. Let's take a look, Greg. Like you said, just a simple play out of this wing T offense. Another run. Phipps gets the handoff from Thompson up the middle. The line does a great job giving him a lane. He out there looking like Bruno Mars because now, folks, he's dripping with finesse. He's got plenty of field in front of him, and he does a great job picking up a huge first down for the Woodside Wolverines. That right there, biggest offensive play of the game so far.
No Maroon 5 there.
Yes, Maroon 5 at the Super Bowl. What do you make of that, Greg, playing halftime?
Excellent choice.
Atlanta, it's going to be a very, very fun Super Bowl in Atlanta, I believe.
Falcons like to make it. I love to see a team that hosted make it one year. So you have an ultimate home game. It's not a neutral site by no means if a home team makes it.
I would like to see the Falcons get back, considering the way they lost their Super Bowl a couple years ago to the Patriots. One of the most crushing defeats I've ever seen in a football game. So it would be good for Atlanta and the Falcons fans if they can get back this year.
But you mentioned the Braves earlier. They got a lineage, back when Joe Torre was managing them. Yep. Dale Murphy of Horner, Rick Mahler, the great late pitcher, Claudell Washington.
Yep.
I mean, they had great players. In the 80s and the 90s, too.
When you get to the Bobby Cox years, Smoltz, Glavine, Greg Maddox, Dave Justice, The
Nationals just haven't learned how to win consistently yet.
It's that foundation. We talk about with Woodside and Danny Dotson. If the foundation's not there, and I think they were building the foundation with Dusty.
Here comes play action fake again. See, it worked for Dotson that last series. They got the touchdown. He's going right at it again. Exactly what Woody Hayes used to do at Ohio State as the head coach from 51 to 78.
And we see that run set up that pass right there because they got the big run from Phipps. Now Heritage has to come up in the box to try to stop the run, and you leave some passing lanes open. Great job right there by the Woodside Wolverines. This is a big drive, Greg, because I think if Woodside scores right now, that might be it tonight.
Could be checkmate early. The score is what it is. It's been a good, well-fought game by both teams. Great sportsmanship, great conduct as well.
Two of the best coaches in the district with Massenberg and Dotson.
There he is, Dr. George Parker. Welcome, George. And Herritage has some great coaches like Pierce and Quillen over the years. And Massenberg is right up there with Quillen, but not at the level of winning a state championship
one
yet.
piece missing.
Kurt Newsom coached Heritage. He was a Virginia Tech assistant for a long time, the former Kickoff coach. All right, we played 3 quarters. We got one more left in Newport News. It is Woodside 6, Heritage nothing. We'll be back after these messages. And there you see the fans enjoying the game, the band, and so forth. Nate, give us a recap.
Pretty much not a lot of action on the offense side of the ball until last quarter, where we saw a run by Deontay Chesson, a missed two-point conversion afterwards for the Woodside Wolverines. That brings us to the current score, 6-0. Woodside on top of the Herritage Hurricanes. And again, Greg, like you said, this is a crucial point of the ball game for the Herritage Hurricanes. They've got to make something happen, because I think if Woodside scores again, it's game over.
You got to make the big play, fundamentals, execute, listen to your coaches, energy level, keep it up. You got 1 quarter left. Momentum, be proactive. Pick somebody else up on your team, who might be flat right now. Boost their morale up. Kind of like what Mac does with the Bears. Unbelievable how one player, people say they remind him of Lawrence Taylor, reminds me of Ray Lewis.
Yeah, and I don't know what John Gruden was thinking.
Might be the
Khalil Mack get away from the
He
Raiders.
definitely was rusty. You don't get rid of Mack. And Woodside grounding and pounding on Herritage. Remember, we're in the 4th quarter now.
Again, folks, don't forget to text us 757-291-4234 for a shout-out. Let us know where you're watching the game, what you're snacking on, who you're rooting for. Hit us up on the text line, folks.
Woodside deep in the Herritage territory. Just 11:29 and counting left. Now the clock is a big factor now, because Herritage hasn't proven they can score yet.
Yeah. And then, like you said, it gets late early, as the old saying goes. And if Woodside finds a way to get it into the end zone here, that's going to be a tough hill for the Herritage Hurricanes to climb, considering their offensive struggles tonight.
Great hammer work by our crew. Very impressed by Phipps and Chesson tonight.
Yeah, Phipps, Chesson, a little bit of right on the side. That's the thing with Woodside. They can get into these ground and pound games because they've got 3 quality running backs that they can come with out of that backfield, along with Thompson behind center as the quarterback. So they have the weapons, they have the bodies to just throw you at the line, whereas other teams, they only have 1, maybe 2 quality running backs. They can get worn down pretty quickly. There you see, it's just
first and goal, Nate.
As they say, football is a game of inches. Beautiful.
Those shoes are clean right there.
Beautiful shot.
You see how clean his shoes are. I don't see any dirt on those shoes.
Hey, maybe he had a week to clean them off, though, Greg. They didn't play last week. Maybe he had a week to get them detailed. Got them fresh kicks. Those are red bottoms. Those are bloody shoes.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's going to be something Coach Dotson talks about when he gets to review the tape at the end of the game.
Both teams have been rusty.
A lot of rust on both of these teams, and Woodside uncharacteristically getting all these penalties. Like we saw on the kick return in the first half, 2 personal fouls on 1 play. Like they got to clean that stuff up if they want to be a good team come postseason.
10-20 and change. You see the great gridiron shot by our crew. And pay dirt. Pay dirt like old Mercury Morris. Number 22. Desmond Wright went the right way.
You could say he got the right stuff, Greg. Great job by the Woodside Wolverines.
And that could be checkmate, Nate.
That could be. That very well could be. Let's take a look on the replay, folks. Again, nothing fancy here. They're not coming out here with filet mignon or shrimp etouffee. They're just coming in with a good old solid hamburger, a good old solid piece of American meat, a steak or something. Put it on your plate.
No gristle.
No gristle. We don't need it. We don't need A1 sauce. We're just going to run it up the middle. Great job by Wright. That was a Spam sandwich with some cheese on the side, Not fine dining at all, but it gets the job done. Now we see Woodside going for 2. Not able to get it in the end zone. No good on that 2-point conversion try. So now your score, folks, the Woodside Wolverines on top with 12 points. Herritage 0. And Greg, like you mentioned, yeah, we got a lot of time still left here in this fourth quarter. We got 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But the way Heritage has been playing on offense, that could be a steep mountain to climb.
12-0 Woodside as well.
This is a big moment, Greg, for the Heritage Hurricanes. Like, this is the moment where you find out what your team is made of, where you find out what you got left in the tank. And, you know, I know Coach Massenberg is not going to let these kids quit. He is not going to let these young men give up on themselves. And so we're going to see what type of mettle the Heritage Hurricanes have left in them in these last 10 minutes.
Give us a recap.
All right, folks. Again, first half scoreless. But in the second half, it has been all Woodside. In the third quarter, we saw a touchdown run by Deontay Chesson. They missed a two-point conversion, so it was 6-0 going into the fourth quarter. And moments ago, we saw a run by Wright, the right stuff, bringing it in. They again missed a two-point conversion, so we are standing right now with the Woodside Wolverines with 12. The Heritage Hurricanes still have yet to score in this ball game, my friend.
And that's a big amount, too, 12 points. In a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, it's not insurmountable, but it feels very tough. Another flag on the play.
And you can text us at 757-291-4234. Give us a shout-out. We can hear Sierra. She's getting ready.
I'm telling you, Sierra's got a lot of work in tonight. She's been doing a great job getting these interviews with the coaches before the game and with the folks during the game on the sidelines.
And the story of the game tonight is Heritage has not gotten their flow.
No flow. That was going to be the thing coming in, Greg. Who was going to be able to respond to that layoff due to hurricane flow? Who was going to be the team that could bounce back quicker? And right now, it appears to be the Woodside Wolverines.
Somebody's got to make a big play for Heritage.
They're still fighting out there. You see, they're not giving up.
All right, let's get to the interview with Sierra.
Good evening. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News, and I'm joined with Herritage High School's principal, Ms. Gerald. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, with the score right now, don't know how I feel, but you know, the football team consists of a lot of seniors, so how do you think the football team is going to look after the class of 2019?
Well, we always prepare for the next group that comes in. So just like when we have our grade level assemblies, we have our seniors come in to welcome our freshmen officially. So I know that Coach Massenberg has a plan to pick up after these seniors leave this year.
And how do you think we can pick up the intensity of this game right now?
Well, I've been watching the offense and the defense, and I think that Coach Massenberg has been working with the boys individually. They are looking better this game. There are a couple of things that I'm going to give him some advice on because, you know, I'm a football coach. So I'm going to keep those secrets to myself because I know people are watching and trying to get all our secrets.
Right, always trying to copy us. So we play Warwick High School for homecoming. How do you feel about that matchup?
I think it's going to be a great game. Right now, Warwick is 4-0. They're a really hot season this year. So I'm looking forward to the competition at homecoming. It should make for a great crowd and make for a great audience.
And other than football, how are our other heritage sports doing?
I think all our sports are doing well. Shout out to field hockey, CU girls. But I think all of our sports are doing well. Some of them are in growing seasons, but I'm proud of every student athlete at Herritage High School.
Okay, and last question. What is the best high school in Virginia?
The 5800 Family Herritage High School.
That concludes this interview. I'm Sierra Hendricks. Thank you so much, Ms. Gerald. That concludes this interview. Back to the booth.
All right, you see the cheerleaders and the principal having fun being the prognosticator, but we like all Newport News schools the same. We like Woodside, we like Herritage, we like Warwick, Denby, and Metro. They've all got their pros.
Excellent job tonight, though, by Sierra. That was a great interview with Principal Gerald.
Yeah, putting her on the spot there because Warwick is tough.
Warwick is, again, And I think, we talked a lot about these two teams tonight, Greg, but Warwick has the best record of anybody right now, and it's a credit to Coach Hairston and the team there. The question is, how will they respond to the week off? I think it can either give them a rest or it could create some rust like we've seen tonight with Herritage.
If Herritage loses, they'll be 1-2 on the season. That's not good. Woodside will be a positive 3-1.
Yep. Woodside, a perennial playoff team under the tutelage of Danny Dodson.
Herritage going in the air. Complete. Big play. Touchdown. This game ain't over yet. Daylight comes and daylight goes. We talked about the big play. The Hurricanes got it.
Wow. Big time pass by Price. Let's take a look. Just great timing. Where has this been all night long, Greg Bigaveras? Just lays it in there for his receiver, and there you see, you're not going to catch him fast as you can. You won't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Big play for the Herritage Hurricanes.
Number 8, Shelton Hicks.
Shelton Hicks, the senior, 6'3", 160 pounds, a big target. I'm wondering, why haven't we gone to Shelton Hicks all night long? They've got some weapons out there, Shelton Hicks, Blizzard. They've got some weapons. We just have not seen them on the same page. The kick is up, and it is good. Herritage coming back in this thing, folks. Don't touch your dial. Don't touch your smartphones. Don't go anywhere. This game is not over yet.
Shelton Hicks looking like Plaxico Burris out there. Great catch.
And where has that been all night for the Herritage Hurricanes? Maybe they're like Mike Tyson. Maybe they just got to get punched one time, and then they can respond, because this offense has been sleeping all night long, but it looks like they finally woke up.
And that's the problem when you don't convert on special teams. For Woodside, you're only up by 5, less than a touchdown.
Yep, and then we'll see if that comes back to bite Danny Dodson and the Woodside Wolverines. Now the thing is, Herritage, your offense stepped up. The defense has got to remain steadfast. They got to remain strong and vigilant here in the fourth quarter. But you can just tell the band is up. The principal is excited. The fans are back into this. We got a ball game, folks. Price to Hicks, a nice connection on the touchdown pass.
Excellent, excellent 5-point lead. We got a ball game here. Don't touch that dial. Tell your friends, nnpstv.com. Hit the live webcast button now. Here comes the kick. Short kick, swivel kick. And Woodside will recover it. But that.
Let's take another look at the scoring play, Greg, because to me, this is what we've needed, what we've missed from Herritage all night. That connection, that synchronicity, if you will, between the quarterback and the receiver. Price drops back, does a good job finding the open man, just flips it right over the defense to where only Hicks can catch it. Hicks using all that 6'3" frame, taking it to the house. Don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years. Herritage is back in this thing.
And the speed, too, when he caught the ball.
Yep. That's what Heritages need to do all night long, just be aggressive. And we finally saw it work for Coach Massenberg and these boys out here tonight.
Because this will be a tough pill to swallow when you lose a game like this.
Yep.
It was anybody's ball game going into the second half. Both teams have woken up, though.
Yeah, they're doing that childish Gambino, stay woke. Don't get caught slipping out here.
And they try to take my bottle box.
Hey, that was a model pass right there, though, that we saw by the Herritage Hurricanes.
And Woodside answering back. And saving a touchdown.
Wow.
Also the new AD at Woodside, Paul Macklin, too.
Yep, Paul Macklin, a name that sounds familiar to you folks out there, of course. Older brother of David Macklin, one of the greatest players in Newport News history. And here we're going to see on the replay, folks. How do you respond to a score, Greg? By coming back with a nice play of your own, big-time gain on the return by the Woodside special teams.
And that was their quarterback, too, Tyler Thompson. I mean, we talk about players going both ways, not easy. That could be 3 ways.
Thompson goes 3 ways. He is triple threat, if you will. Offense, defense, and special teams. The young man has played big tonight.
We'll see if Dotson's conservative, very conservative coach, but you got plenty of time left with one big play.
Yep.
We talked about that. The theme of the game was the big play. Both teams have made their big plays.
I get the feeling both coaches know they're on TV. They saved the drama for the fourth quarter.
And the run, you don't want to go out of bounds, though. That just gives Heritage more life.
Yep.
We've already played 2 hours and 6 minutes. We're in Newport News, Virginia. Glad you're with us on Cox Cable 47, Fios 17, NNPSTV.com.
That's the one thing if you're the Woodside offense, you got to be mindful of the clock. You don't want to step out of bounds. You want to keep that clock rolling because that is in your favor as you have the lead here late. But again, can't say enough about the comeback right now that we've seen by the Herritage Hurricanes. But then again, Greg, a score right now by Woodside, and that comeback might be squashed before it gets started.
12-7 Woodside with the ball. They keep it on the ground across the 20. And that was Phipps on the run.
So many weapons in the backfield for Danny Dotson. Bryce Phipps. You got Wright, who we saw with a touchdown. You got Chesson, who might be the best runner out of all three of the running backs for the Woodside Wolverines. So Danny Dotson has an endless supply, it would seem, of great runners for that wing T system.
You work hard all season long, and it does come down to game time. Practice, you get the repetition, but the game, nothing like game time.
4 quarters, you got to go out there and give it all you got. This is live. This is real. And we're seeing a real fight tonight.
Heritage picking up the intensity on defense. They like that 4-3, countering the wing T. And this is where the wing T can be like the old wishbone that Bethel used back in the 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say, for some folks who may not be familiar with the wing T, it does have some similarities with the wishbone. You talk about Bethel using that. Again, Georgia Tech, a team that has run out of that wishbone formation for years and years. And the advantage to that, Greg, is it can grind you down. It can just run down the clock, run down the other opposing defense. And we're seeing that over the years through Danny Dotson running this wing T here at Woodside.
Like the claw in wrestling.
Yeah, like
the old claw.
The old iron claw, the Von Erich claw.
And you can see Woodside trying to milk the clock right now. And they do it again.
Wow.
Nice run right there. And that's right.
Right, close to another score right there,
and
Greg.
with only 7:06 left, a touchdown might win by default.
Well, that's the thing. We saw a great response by the Herritage Hurricanes. Now, if Woodside can respond, that just makes the climb that much more difficult for Coach Massenberg and the Hurricanes, because now you're back in the same situation you were before you scored, but now you've got even less time on the clock.
Takes a total team effort. Coaches, assistants, staff, players on the same page since the summer, off-season conditioning, and the reward is game time.
No score yet.
I don't think it bothers Dotson because the clock keeps going.
Yeah, if you're Danny Dotson, that's the thing. I'd tell the guys not to score so early. I'd tell them, to run this clock down, because you're going to get the ball back to Heritage once you score. You want to give them as little time as possible to complete this comeback.
And we're going to see Heritage and Warwick in a few weeks.
That's going to be a good one. I think Warwick, again, the surprise of the season. And there you see right there in the trenches, this is what it's all about. 1 yard for the Wolverines. Can they get it?
And they pound it in. Touchdown. Thompson on the keeper.
Wow, Thompson with the QB sneak. Great job by the Wolverines on that play, Greg. And the thing is, they took 4 minutes off the clock. That, to me, was the biggest part of that drive right there.
And they got an 11-point lead.
Great job by the Woodside Wolverines to kind of reclaim the momentum after Heritage scored that touchdown, and it felt like the crowd was on their way to coming back into this thing. It's been an adventure here with point afters for the Wolverines.
Kicking has not been the specialty tonight. 18-7. And the kick is up, and it is. It's good.
All right.
So now Woodside's got a 19-7 lead. That might be enough because you only got 6:22 left.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, it was a great job by the Heritage Hurricanes to score, but now they got to come out and do it not once but twice if they want to come away with the victory tonight. And as you can see, folks, 6:22, not a lot of time against a very tough Woodside Wolverine defense. But that's why you play the games, Greg. That's why you come out here. Games aren't won on paper. You know, you got to come out here and give it all you got. If Herritage can find a way to pull this thing off, it'll go a long way towards building momentum for the playoffs.
Boy, they can win this game, but the game ain't over till the clock rolls.
There you go. And speaking of the game isn't over, the game is never over for rising 11th graders. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for more information or to schedule a tour, 757-591-4687, extension 0. Again, 591-4687, extension 0. A great program here. The work you've seen tonight by the staff and crew, particularly from our students, you can't get this anywhere else.
All right, fumble. We'll see what the officials say. And the Wolverines get it.
Wow.
That should be checkmate.
Gutsy call by Danny Dotson. That's why he's the dean, folks. He didn't want to give Heritage the opportunity to have another scoring drive. Goes for the onside kick when they're ahead, when they're leading, and was able to recover it. And like you said, Greg, that could be checkmate. That could be ball game. Could be game over, man.
I haven't heard the bugler yet. Let's go and take care of the crew real quick. And, of course, our great executive producer, the wonderful Michelle Price, the coordinating producer of tonight's game. Ray Price, since 1992, worked with Paul Cummings for so many years. Producer of sports highlights as well. And Woodside on the run right there. They're going to milk this clock here, folks. Number 22, right. Our director, Bill Barlow, with us since 1993. Our engineer, the wonderful Greg Lesko, knows the weather before the weatherman do. And, of course, Carl Daniels.
All right, I also want to give a shout-out to Sam Price Security. You can't put a price tag on safety. But we got to give a shout-out to the kids, the student crew that have done a great job bringing you the sight and sound tonight. We got Ryan Mullen, Michael McClellan, Derek Miracle, Pedro Leon, Joshua Falsagon, Joshua Stuck, Brandon Hedgepeth, Brandon Nault, Ian Tyson Odette, Xavier Bates, David Embry, Xavier Davis, Colin Biggie Smalls, Trayon Mobley, Reggie Martindale, Sierra Hendricks. You've seen her all night long doing a great job with the interviews. That is our student staff tonight. You got to give a tip of your cap. 11th and 12th graders doing a great job here, folks. And, of course, this is our 28th year of prep coverage on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com. If you still got time to text, folks, 757-291-4234 to get in on our shout-out contest. Again, do it now because we are live now. If you're watching this game 2 weeks from now, we will not be here. The text lines will be closed down.
And Woodside milking the clock.
Quan Holiday. Want to give a shout-out to Quan Hall. Giving us the audio in the truck. Quan making me sound like $1 million, so shout out to you, Quan.
Fans getting a little sleepy there.
Quan, a member of the Denby Patriot football team who made it here after practice tonight. So, again, shout out to the great job that our student crew has done bringing you this football game.
Absolutely. 19-7. 4:30 left in this game. Woodside just milking the clock now. Glad you're with us.
And I tell you what, that's why Danny Dotson is the dean of Newport News coaches, Greg. I don't know how many coaches would have the guts to call that onside kick after that score and risk giving the ball back in good field position to the other team.
Coach Nuttycombe coached at Menchville for 19 years. Dotson surpassed him, but Nuttycombe, of course, was at Newport News High School as well.
Yep.
Thad Madden coached at Warwick and Huntington. Coached Warwick for 10 years. Ted Bako, the late Ted Bako, coached Ferguson from 79 to 85. Hard to beat Mike Smith, who's been there since 71 in Hampton.
Yeah.
Or Kaz, who's at Bethel for 25 years.
And speaking of Mike Smith, what do you make of the whole situation going on with Coach Smith, Greg, and just kind of the...
And one of his assistants quit on him,
yeah,
too.
And you talk about one of the perennial powerhouses. Hampton, over the years, has been that powerhouse. Granted, Phoebus has had some success in recent years, but Hampton set the standard for a long time.
Double-digit state championships.
Yep.
And they're in a state of flux. It might be time to make a change.
Yeah, you know, nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to see the great legend that is Mike Smith out the door, but times change, seasons change, things change, and eventually, you know, Father Time is undefeated. He's LeVar Ball. He's never lost. And eventually you have to step down.
How's that going to work out with Ball and LeBron James? We still haven't been hearing what LeBron says. I don't think he likes his dad too much.
No, that's going to be an interesting story. You talk about the NBA being a year-round sport. Hearing the chatter out of Hollywood with the Lakers and LeBron, that's going to be an interesting story to keep your eye on this season, folks.
And great sportsmanship by Dotson, not running up the score.
Well, this is the sands of the hourglass winding down, folks.
These are the days of our lives.
Great effort by both teams, but again, Danny Dotson's the dean for a reason. I think, you know, that onside kick is a gutsy call that sealed the deal for the Heritage Hurricanes. Their fate was sealed. Woodside's going to walk out of here with a big win.
All right, sports highlights on weekends at 9 a.m., Mondays at 7, 2, and 7. Cox Cable 47, Fios 17. Watch it. Tell your friends, of course. This month, head coach of the Apprentice School, brand new, and Hampton University. We get the elite guests right here on Sports Highlights. And, of course, a big show coming up in October with DJ Dozier, former Kempsville, former New York Met, former Lion and Viking. He played with Herschel Walker and Barry Sanders.
There's so much talent to come from this area, Greg. You know, you talk about DJ Dozier, you talk about Michael Vick, you talk about Allen Iverson, David Wright, you know, who is kind of going into the last bit of his career with the New York Mets. So much talent from around this area. And again, it's great to be able to bring this game to you folks on Cox 47, Verizon 17, and of course the world famous NNPSTV.com from Boston to Boise, Fargo to Farmville, Toronto to Tiananmen, and all points in between. We bring this game to you folks. Been a pleasure to have you again. Shout out to all our men and women in uniform out there serving, protecting us.
And Woodside keeping it on the ground.
Whoa.
Not quite. All right, Nate, get another shout out, of course.
All right.
We'll read it on the air in just a moment. Want to thank all our scoreboard texters, too, throughout the evening. All right. Shout out to our awesome Woodside Wolverines. And here is the play. Nice run right there by number 22.
Who else?
Right. All right. Shout out to our awesome Woodside Wolverines. Danny Dotson's family tuning in, unable to make the game due to the Dotson girls having sporting events. Great job, NNPS TV.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Shout out to you guys. Danny Dotson, of course, like we said, Greg, the standard bearer right now for Newport News coaches. 20 years, been nothing but the model of class and professionalism.
Him and John Quillen, probably the two best coaches of all time. Touchdown.
There's only one thing that Quillen has that Dotson's missing, and that's that championship ring.
But Dotson's got that tenure, too.
Yeah.
And Phipps seals it. Checkmate.
Yep, that was academic right there. That was academic. To me, the game was over the moment Woodside recovered that onside kick. And, again, I can't say enough about how gutsy and crafty that play was by Danny Dotson. Both teams came out here and played hard, but at the end of the day, this was, like we said, Greg, a game that Woodside wanted. They wanted that slugfest in the trenches, and it bore out.
Neither team played 100%, but Woodside have enough gas to sustain for 48 minutes.
That's the thing. Can you win when you're not playing at your best? And Woodside found a way to win.
Look, they had 0 points for a while. They got 25 right now.
Yeah.
unanswered points.
And that's the other thing. The opportunities were there for Heritage. There were opportunities early on in the first half to put some points on the board. Just weren't able to make things happen.
Danny paid his dues as assistant at Ferguson and so many places. He's a model of consistency. And football, once a week, you have a chance to process. You don't have a chance to process in many other sports.
Yeah, and we talked a lot, especially the last few years, about Dotson learning from Coach Tommy Reeman, one of the best coaches in this area, and, going on to beat Reeman in the postseason. I know that had to be a highlight for Danny Dotson.
And it's good.
Wow, look at that score.
And the Wolverines got it tonight. They're going to improve to 3-1. Heritage is going to dip to 1-2. Shout out to Mike Price. Looking and sounding good. Thank you, Michael. And his wonderful family tuning in tonight. There in the truck earlier. Mike realizes it all starts at Newport News, as Greg Lesko knows. That's why Greg left Hampton. Elijah's up here, too.
We got celebrities in the booth. Somebody told me we had superstars in the booth tonight.
The entire Price family. Generations right there.
Hey, that's what we always talk about. Football is a family community thing, and much like football, just seeing the prices out here at these events, it is always bringing a smile to my face.
Thank you to all the texters tonight.
Yep. Again, folks, 757-291-4234. Get your last minute text in, last call for text, because when you're watching this in the future, the text lines will be closed, folks. So you got to be watching tonight, live, September 21st.
Beautiful day in Newport News for sure. Great way to start our 2018 season.
Yep.
But it was almost like starting all over for these teams.
Yeah, and again, Greg, we'd be remiss if we didn't send a shout-out, some love and respect to the people in North Carolina and South Carolina going through the aftermath of Hurricane Florence. We hope that you are able to recover from this. We know that you'll be able to recover from this. But, yes, again, shout-out to all the folks that are watching and that we know through in the Carolinas that are going through this.
Shout out to Paul just texting. Been listening to us all night. Thank you, Paul.
What's up, Paul?
That's one of the coolest names, too, Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great name. So thank you to all our great listeners and viewers. For more, log on to nnpstv.com to see our schedule.
And that score, Greg, even though the score right now it's getting to blowout territory, that's not indicative of the game that we watched tonight. It really didn't get out of hand until the last 5-10 minutes of the fourth quarter. So I think you got to tip your cap. It was a good game played by both teams. It's not going to be perfect with that week layoff due to the storm, but they came out here. Woodside came out here, did what they had to do, got the big win.
And the score is 26-7 in favor of Woodside with 1:48 left in the game. Heritage with the ball going left to right. Pigskin Classic here. Heritage still being proactive, but really they got that one big play, and that was about it, though, in reality.
And speaking of big plays, that was a big pick right there. Interception by the Wolverines, and that officially closes the book on Heritage's night, Greg. But again, I know that this is not the outcome that Coach Massenberg would want for the team. Let's take a look. This is it, the final last gasp for the Hurricanes, and right there, bam, right, good interception.
In the wrong jersey, number 7.
Great job by the Woodside Wolverines closing this thing out.
But like I said, great sportsmanship by both teams, a lot of respect for both teams, and they'll only get better as the weeks go on in October in the future.
Yeah, that was Shamar Holland on the interception right there for the Woodside Wolverines.
All right, another shout-out. We keep getting them. We got to keep that graphic up the entire game next time. Hi, Greg and Nate. I'm watching live from Madison, Wisconsin. Happy belated birthday, Greg.
Oh, all right.
Now, who is our fan in Madison, Wisconsin?
We got people all over the world, Greg.
That's Regina Price.
We got folks all over the world. Shout out to Regina. And yes, Greg, happy belated birthday, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
I
was born 9/11. You were born 8/11.
8/11, yep. I had a big birthday party for you, Greg. Had a stretch limo ready, but unfortunately it was postponed because of the weather. So I couldn't get the limo for this week.
We got our fifth quarter coming up. Thank you, Nate. Michelle's in the truck, too. September 16th. We're ageless. There's no age.
Absolutely not. There's the best formation in football, that victory formation, Greg.
Well, that's it. So Woodside will improve to 3-1. Heritage will dip to 1-2. So a big win for the Wolverines, technically on the road tonight. But both these teams, all the Newport News schools, play their home games at Todd Stadium. When they play each other, they're still technically at home anyway. Nate will give us his recap, and we'll close it out in just a few moments. Great job by the crew. Great job by Fazoli's. Great job by our texters. Great job by everybody watching tonight. So, Woodside wins it 26-7. Stay tuned.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our technical skills, our math, our engineering skills. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills. You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Ultimate Frisbee is a team sport in which players seek to score points by passing a Frisbee to a teammate over the opposing team's goal line. For more information, contact your local recreation center.
Yeah. And here we're back for the fifth quarter. Woodside wins it technically on the road at Todd Stadium. Greg Bickaveros along with Nate Milton. It was anybody's ball game, but Woodside got the big plays, and they grinded it out.
Yeah, that was the thing we talked about all night, Greg. This was the type of game, the type of tempo that favored the Wolverines. You know, it was one of those down and dirty games, one of those games fought in the trenches. And Heritage, they had opportunities. They just weren't able to put anything together. And, you know, we talk about the scoring and the running game of the Woodside Wolverines. You can hold them down for long. It's like that old adage. You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. Heritage was containing Woodside for the first half, but in that second half, it was all Wolverines.
All right, let's give us our scoring recap off camera.
Absolutely. You know, again, like we said, pretty even in the first half. No score at all, but the third quarter, the Wolverines just started running. Deontay Chesson got them on track, and once that train started running, there was no looking back, Greg Bickaveros. Chesson scored. We had Wright score in the fourth quarter. We had Thompson score a touchdown. We had Phipps score a touchdown. And the only touchdown we saw for the Heritage Hurricanes was that long pass from Price to Shelton Hicks. Unfortunately, they couldn't get much more going after that. And so your final score, the Woodside Wolverines, the home team, winning this game by a score of 26-7 over the visiting Herritage Hurricanes, my friend.
All right, want to thank Nate Milton. Want to thank our great crew as well. Beautiful weather tonight as football came back after the Hurricane Florence. All the best to everybody that were affected by it as well. So, once again, for more, log on to nnpstv.com. Woodside wins it over Heritage. They are now 3-1. The Hurricanes are 1-2. For Ray Price and Nate Milton, I'm Greg Bickaveros. We'll talk to you soon.